All right, thank you. It is a cloudy night here in Calgary as we get ready for the Stampeders and Hamilton Tiger Cats. The Stamps 1-1, very well could be 2-0. They also could be 0-2, keep in mind. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats off to an 0-2 start. Temperature 18 degrees, a little cool. Cloudy, as mentioned, and we don't think there are any raindrops in the forecast. 2 years ago, he was the CFL Coach of the Year, Greg Marshall. Another season that begins with a couple of losses, and on the other sideline, last year's Coach of the Year, a two-time Coach of the Year, and Tom Higgins.
Well, Tom Higgins could easily be 2-0, was basically a play away from being 2-0 when Henry Burris and Kenyon Rambo didn't hook up in the Edmonton rematch, but pretty happy with the development of his football team. He'd like to see more production when they get down in the scoring area.
So the Ticats in their whites, the Stamps in their reds, wind blowing from right to left on your TV screen. There's J.R. Ruffin. 7 returns so far this year. We have not had, I'm not going to jinx anybody, I hope, tonight. Maybe it's an omen. We have not had a return yet this year for a touchdown, punt or kick. Maybe here tonight. And the third week of the CFL season is underway. J.R. Ruffin is tripped up at the 30-yard line, and that brings on the Calgary offense, and there is some redemption in mind, and I know you're going to be watching Henry Burris and Kenyon Rambo.
Well, they've kissed and made up, and behind Henry Burris in the running back position will be Joffrey Reynolds in this one. There's a receiving core. Rambo will play out there at the wide receiver spot. Copeland and Nick Lewis coming off a slow game a week ago, and changes up front. John Comiskey plays at center. We will be watching that shotgun snap. Crucial for Burris to get nice snaps from a young center.
That was kind of strange. They all came to the sideline. There was no huddle, and they all came firing back out in the shotgun. Here we go. Burris pump fake to Scotty Anderson on the sidelines. This guy is a speed burner. The former Detroit Lion makes the catch.
Take a look at that Hamilton Tiger Cat defense. A few changes, one in their front seven. Anthony Collier gets his second start, but if you look back to the middle linebacking position, it's Bobby Brooks getting the start ahead of Augustin Berenicia. So it'll be Brooks in the middle of that linebacking core, and Chris Martin was cut this week. It'll be Jason Goss in at halfback along with Tay Cody.
Scotty Anderson's first reception in the Canadian Football League. Burris to the air, over the middle, and the catch made. And a nice one by Nick Lewis, who only had one catch against the Edmonton Eskimos, and they know they want to get this guy going this week.
Well, just one catch for Nick Lewis last week versus Edmonton, and then there was some people in the media here in Calgary saying, what's wrong with Nick Lewis? Well, nothing's wrong with Nick Lewis. You can tell by that catch. Still has the great hands and the ability to get open. He just had an off night. The ball was going elsewhere, and remember in game one, Nick Lewis led the team.
18-yard reception, another first down just over midfield. Burris, play action, still with the ball, to the sidelines for Elijah Thurman. Great catch by Thurman. Arabin Justin making the tackle.
Well, the Hamilton Tiger Cats already reeling here in this first drive. Calgary Stampeders have some early momentum, and is this a crucial game for the Ticats, who have got to be tight? They can't go 0-3 to start the season.
They have had a lot of 0-4s to start seasons past. 0-8 a year ago. Remember, a couple of years ago went 0-12 the year before Greg Marshall took over and became Coach of the Year. 3 in a row for Henry Burris, and he's still throwing. Burris looking to the end zone, wide open, touchdown, Thurman. Sizzling start for the Stampeders.
Elijah Thurman does a great job of adjusting while the ball is in the air. Initially, he looked like he may have been covered by Arabin Justin, but as the ball arrived, he made the adjustment, and Arabin Justin did not. First of all, Henry Burris is going to go backside. In other words, he rolls to his left, then looks back to the opposite side of the formation. A designed one-on-one route for Elijah with Thurman on Justin. You can see the adjustment. Thurman backs up, and Arabin Justin stared looking at the quarterback.
Easy like that. 4 passes, 80 yards, 7 points. Man, what a start for the Stamps here tonight. Hey, Coase. Oh, it's always good when you're there, dude. Love being with you, Coase.
Now time to catch a mini football courtesy of Adiac after every Calgary Stampeder touchdown. Score a touchdown to center. It's now time for the last 7 Stampeder linebackers.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions, and by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet.
Not even 2.5 minutes into the game, and the Stampeders find the end zone. Elijah Thurman from Henry Burris. Sandro DeAngelis. Craig Yeast is back with Willie Quinney making his first start. High stepping is Quinney. Look out here as he tries to go outside, cuts back inside. Nice return. A player who's been on a lot of NFL reserve lists and also played in Europe. So welcome to the Canadian Football League, Willie Quinney.
Well, let's take another look at that touchdown. First of all, Burris puts nice air on the football, but watch the mistake by Arab and Justin. If you hold it right there, watch what he's looking at. Right now, he's looking at the football. His man has snuck in behind him. It doesn't matter. If your man's behind you, looking at the football just gets you the best seat in the house for a defensive back for a touchdown pass.
Josh Ronick, Julian Radlin in the backfield for the Tiger Cats. Jason Moss behind center. Moss throwing. Terry Vaughn gets to the line of scrimmage and maybe picks up a couple of yards. Actually gets about 4.
Well, Jason Moss would love to see Josh Ronick and Corey Holmes in the backfield together. He won't tonight. He has Josh Ronick, who is as close to 100% as he can be. There's his receiving core. The deep threats will be Craig Yeast, DJ Flick, and a little bit of Brock Ralph, and a very different offensive line than a year ago.
2nd down and 6. Moss. Catch made. Craig Yeast. And that is very close to a first down. They may have to bring the sticks out for this. Might be a little shy as we take a look at the defense. Our starting lineups, by the way, tonight brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast.
34 defense for the Calgary Stampeders. Demetrius Maxey with 2 sacks to start the season. There's one name that's familiar to Calgary Stampeders back in that linebacking core, George White, who missed the first 2 games, and a secondary that sees Jaron Ruffin back at halfback for Joey Bosse for the 3rd game in a row.
That 3-4 defense in that linebacking crew, those 4 linebackers, among the most feared in the Canadian Football League. Well, here we go, 3rd. Less than a yard. Moss ahead. And it'll be a first down for the Tiger Cats, and they'll keep marching here.
Well, you heard the panel talk about it, Rod, about Hamilton Tiger Cats under Joe Paopao, who likes to distribute the football. Joe Paopao has always been one to dump that ball off and try and get it in the hands of his playmakers quickly. But you can see by this graphic that passes under 10 yards are predominant in this offense. And Matt Dunnigan talked about it before the game. This offense needs to take some shots deep and go after people, and it plants seeds in the minds of the defensive secondary.
Again, twin backs, but Moss will throw. A flag is thrown. And Julian Radlin, make that Josh Ronick. Pulls up for about 4 or 5 yards, but that might be coming back.
Now, and that's another swing pass coming out of the backfield. But now, in fairness to Joe Paopao and the Ticats offensively, when you're playing against the Montreal Alouettes, as the Ticats were a week ago, you have to throw the ball quickly because of that pressure defense.
Offside, Hamilton number 5. It's a 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
Craig Yeast, the penalized player.
So those numbers may be skewed just a little bit, but I think the point is, and I asked Greg Marshall about it as well, and the point is, we got to take some shots down the field. If anything, DBs got to get out of their chair, out of their back pedal a little bit.
Again, no Corey Holmes here tonight, not with the team. Moss, this time to Radlin. Helmets bashing with George White, so it didn't take long for George White to get his first lick. He missed the first couple of games. Remember, he had an Achilles injury the offseason, of all things, playing pickup basketball.
Well, heartbreaking for George White, but he's way ahead of schedule as far as his rehab goes and back in the lineup way before the Stampeders expected him. You can see with his totals after 18 games a year ago how important he is to the defense.
CFL's leading tackler last year. Pick up the 4 yards there. It's now 2nd and 11. Moss in the pocket. Gets it out to Ronick again, but they will come up short. Only 5 yards. Factor tonight, as we get into a 3rd down situation where they won't be going for it, is Jamie Borum, who did not have a lot of success and has felt a little heat in Steeltown this week as well. 0 for 3 last week and has missed 4 of 7 field goals so far this season.
Yeah, and that changes how Greg Marshall approaches things, because he doesn't want to try those long field goals and won't as quickly.
The wind with Pat Fleming here. He's back at his 50. Try to angle one. He does. Down to the 10-yard line, and that's where Henry Burris and his Stampeders will go back to work. 7-0 Calgary in the first quarter.
All right, the real auto parts, Apple Auto Parts, keep to win, contestant, time. He's going to attempt a 30-yard field goal. He's successful with a special edition Napa mini chopper. All right, Ty, it's your kick. Oh, kills the Stamps. Ty, don't worry. You'll get a consolation prize, autograph Stampeder football. Here's Ty. Visit your local Napa store for right parts and service.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet, and by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions.
Little Thursday night football, week 3 in the Canadian Football League. That man has the first touchdown of the game, Elijah Thurman, the former Saskatchewan Rough Rider. Stampeders with their second possession and the first touch of the game, and a fumble, and picked up by the Tiger Cats, and a touchdown by Bobby Brooks. Joffrey Reynolds coughs it up. The Tiger Cats have scored.
How badly did the Hamilton Tiger Cats need a play like that? I don't think Joffrey Reynolds was on the ground. He hit the pack and was spinning out of there when he lost control of the football. One more look at it. He's going right up the middle here, and as he hits the pack, he tries to twist. It turns out has not gone down yet. The ball comes out, and that newcomer starting for the first time in the CFL, Bobby Brooks with the touchdown.
Played in the NFL European League, was a two-time All-Star there. Played with the Raiders and the Jacksonville Jaguars from Fresno State. Bobby Brooks in the middle. Bobby Brooks in the end zone, a touchdown. Boy, a stunning turnaround here.
Without question, and against a team that is desperate for a win. The Hamilton Tiger Cats need something early after that first drive. They got it from Brooks.
No one knows that more than their head coach, Greg Marshall.
It's very imperative. It really is. It's important for our confidence. I think our players have handled the situation well. Part of that was we were very confident coming out of training camp. We had a good camp. We played well in the 2 games against Toronto. We got to get it done now in the regular season when they count.
Well, you can see the 0-4s in the last couple of years, and those just haven't been 0-4s. Those have been terribles.
Right, yeah, they're 0-2. If they go 0-3, look what's down the road. I mean, oh no is a perfect title for that, because you don't want to go 0-12. And this is a team that made so many moves in the offseason, as you mentioned off the top, Rod, that there is more pressure and expectation now than ever before on Greg Marshall.
You played on a lot of teams, a lot of winning teams, some that didn't win. When you make a lot of changes like that, it's an obvious question, but it has to take a while to get things going, especially when you only got a couple of exhibition games and training camp, and then you still are jettisoning some players in during training camp.
Well, absolutely. It takes a ton of time, especially on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, this is a team with a brand new offensive line. They have a new quarterback, a new offensive coordinator. But out of all that, and we've said that about a lot of other teams that have made changes, there is one team in this league that doesn't have much time, and that is the Hamilton Tiger Cats. They have got to get it done right now.
So Terrence Patrick leaving the field. Wendy CFL Friday Night Football tomorrow night. Argonauts and the BC Lions. Ricky Williams in the Argos and the Lions tomorrow night at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific time.
Carl Kidd already mentioned he's looking forward to playing Ricky Williams. I saw that in the paper. That didn't take long.
Fabio Felice was the injured player. Once again, bringing the ball up is J.R. Ruffin, and so Joffrey Reynolds with his first touch fumbles the football here tonight, the CFL's leading rusher. Again, he didn't touch the football in that opening drive, didn't need to because Henry Burris went to the air for the touchdown, but we're all tied at 7.
And what does that mean, the fumble from Joffrey Reynolds for Henry Burris? It doesn't mean anything. You continue to feed the ball to Joffrey Reynolds. Jacques Climby talked about it before the game in the studio, saying that Joffrey Reynolds may be the best back in the league. Well, he's certainly the best all around. Charles Roberts has that great quickness. Ricky Williams with his abilities. Robert Edwards in Montreal, without going through all of them, but you look at the entire picture, Joffrey Reynolds is it.
Will Burris give it right back to him? Get the confidence back, goes to the air. Swallowed up by Nick Lewis, his second reception. Down the sidelines, knocked out of bounds at the 45. Nick the Quick does it again.
Well, I think it took the offensive coordinator for the Ticats, Cavis Reed, to bring him down because Nick Lewis ran out of room. And this is why everyone was wondering what happened to Nick Lewis a week ago when he only had 1 catch, because they're used to seeing him do this with the football.
Already he has surpassed last week's production. 1 catch for 7 yards. 2 receptions so far. 7.5 minutes left, opening quarter. Jermaine Copeland tried to one-hand one, but Jason Goss was there. The throw was errant.
And talk about changes, and you talk about changes with the Hamilton Tiger Cats, Rod. I mentioned the ones on offense, but on defense, especially when you look at the secondary for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they have made changes every game all year. Chris Martin was cut, 3-year veteran from the Ticats. This past week, they've moved halfbacks around. Jason Goss at 1 halfback, Tate Cody's in there. Put Bradley on the corner. It changes everything, and it's tough to get together in a hurry in that secondary.
They have been playing musical DBs for sure. Burris, kind of a sidearm toss that time. Copeland dancing to the 50 of the Ticats.
See that throw by Henry Burris? I mean, This is what Henry Burris does not get enough credit for. You mentioned Rod sidearm. He did sidearm that football, but he happened to sidearm it about 55 yards on a rope. That is tough to defend because defensively you want to narrow down the field. If a quarterback can make that throw that easily, you got to cover 65 yards wide.
Another 1st and 10. There again. Wes Cates out of the backfield, and he picks up a couple. Stampeders' offenses look very impressive here, considering they've had so many problems in the red zone this year. It hasn't been the fact that they haven't been able to move the football. It's when they got down to whatever you might perceive as the red zone, whether it's the 30-yard line in or the 20-yard line in. They have not had much success, and Steve Barato's been concerned about that.
Yeah, well, in the last 2 games, they've been in that zone 6 times and come away with just 1 touchdown. And so far tonight, they've been in there once and have a touchdown.
Burris throwing again. This time he'll take off. Sliding in and a big hit. And Scott Gordon nails Burris and a flag flies.
You know, penalties and undisciplined penalties have been a problem for Hamilton in the first 2 weeks. Now, this is one that may not bother Greg Marshall too much because he wants Scott Gordon to play aggressively, but when the quarterback goes feet first, you cannot go after his head or try that forearm to the chin. It will be called every time, and the guys know it.
Cats. Oh, yeah, you can hear that. The Cats last week, 65 yards in penalties in the first quarter in their loss
Illegal contact
against Montreal.
Well, they're averaging.
Hamilton. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Hamilton, total of 25 yards, 1st down.
They're averaging 120 yards a game in 2 games, and 120 yards of real estate is just too much.
You're going to have to start getting that Grecian formula for all your coaches when that starts happening.
And that's a tough one for Scott Gordon because he's trying to play aggressively, trying to put a lick on a quarterback. You don't get many chances at that. But as soon as he goes feet first, you got to let up.
Burris behind center and then in the shotgun. That's a story here tonight, too. New center for Calgary. Reynolds shrugs off a couple and then gang tackle near the sideline, only gets 1. But there have been some changes on the offensive line for Calgary.
Well, and so far so good. If you're Tom Higgins, when you look at those changes, John Comiskey goes up there. Tyler Linham is up on the tackle position, and then you got Taylor Robertson, Jay McNeil, the veteran. He's really the only veteran in that group. John Comiskey, remember, has to call the fronts. He has to call the protections. He has to get the ball back to the quarterback, and he has to block his man.
First start at center for Comiskey. You have to make sure in the shotgun that that ball is right there, like that. Burris pumps, fakes, in the end zone, wide open. Oh, Copeland had touchdown in his hands. Burris could not see him, though. He was in the back of the end zone, and so now the kick team will come out and try for 3.
Well, he is wide open right here at the back of the end zone, but Henry Burris doesn't see him till the last second, and by the time he does, Tate Cody a drop back and just gets a piece of the football to distract Jermaine Copeland enough.
You don't see that happen very often with Jermaine Copeland, even if it's a tip. A sure-handed receiver, but Sandro DeAngelis, 7 of 8 so far. From the 27, make it 8 of 9. Stampeders have a 10-7 lead. Wendy's CFL on TSN.
Every time Sandro kicks a field goal, Cardell Homes donates $500 to local children's charities. And so far this year, $2,500 donated. All right, direct your attention to the southeast corner of the end zone. Check out fans Kelly and Tracy. We'll enjoy the ride of a quick 6, courtesy of AMJ Campbell, the official sponsor of the Stampeder Touchdown Horse.
I'm right here in front of the camera. Yeah.
I'm talking about Hamilton defense being like, they got to be concerned about those 2 drives. I mean, you got to stop them.
The guys are hot, and the girls are sometimes looking good, just isn't enough. Push to the limit and beyond. On UC2 CFL, Tuesday at 9 on Roll. Both the Miami's yellow and purple colors stampede great luck this year. International playoffs at Fort West Stadium Concourse.
.404 left in the opening quarter here at McMahon Stadium in Calgary. 10-7 Stampeders. Craig East and Willie Quinney back for the Ticats. DeAngelis with the boot. Once again to the newcomer, Quinney. That high step. Kind of gallops as soon as he gets the ball. Up to the 28-yard line. Let's go down to the sidelines tonight. Patrolling the sidelines for us is Jermaine Franklin. Hi, Jermaine.
Thanks, Rod. This wasn't the way Nick Lewis expected to start the season after 2 games, just 5 catches for 74 yards. When I asked him about it earlier in the week, he said he felt like he was the most overrated receiver in the league, especially after seeing Geroy Simon with 18 catches at this stage of the season. But obviously he has 2 catches already. He did say patience was the key, and Henry Burris said it himself that the ball has to be spread around, but he wouldn't be surprised if Nick Lewis became one of the hot hands. It goes too often.
The little ball of hate, Josh Ronick plowing close to a first down. You know, it's kind of interesting this week, Nick Lewis with only 1 reception. Usually he's the guy who's always talking. All the talk this week surrounded Kenyon Rambo and Henry Burris.
Yeah, and then they're fine, and Nick Lewis already involved in the offense, but you know, Henry Burris is going to stay close to Nick Lewis because, and he should, because of the productivity he can get out of him. But Henry Burris has distributed the football in the first 2 games to both slots and receivers almost equally. 15 to slots, 12 to wide receivers.
It is a first down for Hamilton. Terry Vaughn close to another first down.
How about Terry Vaughn?
How about him?
Yeah, I mean, you know, how many times over the last couple of years have people said that Terry Vaughn's days are done, and yet Terry Vaughn leads the Hamilton Tiger Cats coming into this game with 11 catches, 146 yards. He is in the all-time reception list. He's going to catch Darren Flutie this year.
And counting for Terry Vaughn. Ronick past George White. Bashes. Just bashes his way for 8 yards. Trey Young and Josh Ronick colliding.
You know, at every point in a run, the running back has to make a quick decision. Do I go around or through the would-be tackler? Well, for Ronick, just take a look at his decision. Right about now, he's deciding. He's got an open field tackle. He's got a tackler coming up. What do I do? Well, I'm just going to lower my shoulder. Trey Young.
Josh Ronick averaged only 1.7 yards against Montreal. They need to get him going too. You know what he did with the Ottawa Renegades. Loss. Communication breakdown, and he's dropped. John Grace.
Yeah, and that's, again, the thing that has frustrated Greg Marshall, the Hamilton Tiger Cat head coach, and second in a short situation is advantage for the offense, and you get a quick hitch play that clearly Jason Moss was supposed to get rid of that football in a hurry, but no receiver jumped back to the line of scrimmage to take that hitch play.
And those are the kind of plays we've seen early on here with a new quarterback and a new system. Really the only player he knows in that offense is Terry Vaughn, who he played with in Edmonton when he was there. But
a mental bust that cost him a first down.
Kenyon Rambo's back. Fleming, former Renegade, sends Rambo back to his 8. Cuts back. And a flag on the play. We'll tell you about it when we come back. Kenyon, a couple of yards on the return there. 10-7 Stampeders, a minute to go in the first quarter.
Illegal block. Calgary number 44. 10-yard penalty in the run back. First down.
Defensive coordinator Kavis Reed has got to be concerned with the play of his defense. Calgary Stampeders have had 3 drives. One was turned over by a fumble on the first play. The other 2 went the length of the field.
This is where we fumbled last time, not this time. Joffrey Reynolds takes it up to the 15-yard line. Well, special night, I'm sure, for another veteran, Danny McManus. Last year, of course, the last few years has been the quarterback for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, but then via trade, a couple of trades, ends up here in Calgary.
Well, and he's going to be a guy that should help Henry Burris in a big way. Not really in technique, because they're so different in styles and how they throw the football and type of quarterbacks they are, but just through situations mentally more than anything.
2nd and 3. And another first down for the Stampeders.
But again, this is what I'm talking about with this Hamilton defense. Kavis Reed has got to be concerned. The Calgary Stampeders, the only time they were stopped was when they did it themselves on a fumble. Other than that, they've moved the ball all the way down the field. The Hamilton Tiger Cats have really not shown any ability to put a stop on them.
Bobby Brooks had that touchdown, and fumble recovery should be the last play of the opening quarter, barring penalty. Reynolds again in the backfield. Gets the carry again. That will do it. Stampeders, touchdown by Thurman and a field goal. Lead 10-7 after 1. This is Wendy, CFL on TSN. We just use this, right? Did you just pick that notepad up for me? No, you just throw it there. Thanks.
Where performance and design cross over.
You know,
moving a ball at will here.
You know what? For the Ticats to compete, though, they're going to have to get a stop. I mean, they can't compete if they're giving up, you know, what was the first 2 drives? 80 and 71-yard drives. I mean, offensively, they're going to do some things tonight, I can tell, but defensively, it's nothing right now. Okay. How's that, buddy? Better?
Make some noise!
Here are the numbers after the first quarter, brought to you by Rona, proud league-wide sponsor of the CFL.
Well, for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they've got a couple of gains out of Josh Ronick rushing the football, but 147 net yards for Calgary. So the concern for the Ticats is on the defensive side.
Calgary Stampeder fans here in McMahon Stadium tonight are kind of wondering, where was that offense last week? They certainly have it in gear.
Yeah, they do, and that's where the Hamilton Tiger Cats, if they want to compete tonight, they're going to have to make the Calgary Stampeders stop them on offense. Right now, I think you can see that the Hamilton offense is going to do some things. Defensively, they're not competing yet.
They've given up a couple of big gainers, and now Joffrey Reynolds has also started to establish himself in the game, and that could be bad news for the Tabby D. We'll see. Second quarter now underway. Burris to Reynolds out of the backfield.
Well, they get a stop, and that's how it starts. It starts with the first one, because the Calgary Stampeders held short on first down. They get in a second long situation. That Hamilton defense finally bows its neck and comes up with a stop because, boy, Henry Burris was having his way. 2 drives, one of 80 yards in the first quarter, one of 71 yards.
Ate up a lot of the clock, too, and now Burke Dales with his first punt of the night. Craig East is back. Dales, whose sister is a WNBA star and actually worked with us on TSN as a sideline reporter. Stacey Dales, now a member of the Chicago Sky in the WNBA. Family of athletes, Brockville, Ontario.
Time count violation. Calgary number 16, 5-yard penalty, repeat third down.
Both of the kickers in Calgary, their second seasons in the CFL, this tandem of Dales and DeAngelis.
Interesting why they called that timeout. They clearly, Hamilton, because they have 12 guys out there, clearly Hamilton showed them something that they weren't used to seeing.
East on the hop, the 40. Red jerseys converge. Look out, here's an opening. Yeast spinning up to the 43-yard line of Calgary. Good field position here for Jason Moss and the Tabbies.
Yeah, and Jason Moss started to establish a running game, and he's going to have to. Now he's got to see if his offensive line will continue to come together. I talked about all the changes in this offense and on the line, and look at the difference between Week 1, 2005, Week 1, 2006. The only consistent player in those 2 years been Wayne Smith, guard.
Offensive line a few years ago that never changed. Remember how good they were. Should be an offside call here against Hamilton. Vaughn with the play, but it looked like someone jumped one of the receivers on the right side. Might have been Brock Ralph.
Well, and we talked about the penalties for the Ticats. Over 50% of their penalties have been offsides or holdings, and those are disciplined penalties. Those are penalties that, other than a couple, depending on the holding
Offside,
call.
Hamilton number 80, 5-yard penalty, repeat first down.
Take a look, and that's just discipline. Knowing the snap count. Offense knows the snap count. You got to stay disciplined and behind the line.
Brock Ralph, his brother Brett playing for Calgary tonight. The Ralph family from Raymond, Alberta here tonight. A lot of brothers in the Canadian Football League, tandems, siblings around the league. There's the shovel pass to Ronick. Remember how that worked to great efficiency in Ottawa with Kerry Joseph, Josh Ronick, and the shovel pass. But talk about the Ralph brothers. Let's go through all the brothers here.
Well, there's a bunch in the CFL, isn't there? I mean, look at them. We got Brett and Brock, and you mentioned they're going to have a lot of family members here for this one tonight. The Comiskis, Dan and John. John getting his first start in the Canadian Football League. Dan, one of the perennial All-Stars.
Raheem and Khalid Abdullah. Khalid not playing tonight for Calgary. Moss looking in the pocket, and it's picked off. Tony Tiller with the interception. And just like that, the Ticats drive is snuffed out. Tiller picks off Moss.
Number 29, Tony Tiller with the interception.
It's time to go into the red zone with young Steven. We're in the red zone, man. All right, Jimmy, I hear you from Compton. Is that true? That's true. Is there any difference between Compton and Calgary? Big difference. Big difference. Big difference. Being new to Calgary, what's your favorite part about the city? I love the snow. Growing up as a kid, who was your favorite football team and favorite player and why?
Favorite football team would be Los Angeles Raiders. My favorite player, Deion Sanders.
Now, if you had a chance to have anybody in the stands come watch you play ball, who would it be?
J-Lo.
J-Lo. Yeah. Now, growing up, what was your favorite subject in school? What was your best at? Football. Football? That was a subject? Yeah. What's in your iPod right now? What are you listening to? Listening to a little bit of Ice Cube right now. On the road, you guys have roommates. Who would you want as your roommate this year and why? I would have to say Trae Young. Smell. Describe yourself in 3 words. What do you think? Young, wild, fresh. What do you think of Big Chief featured? Bite.
Jason Moss now with his 5th interception of the season.
Well, the quarterback is always taught to try and look off the defensive secondary. Watch Jason Moss here, right here. See where he's looking? He's looking in this direction. The crossing route is coming here from Terry Vaughn. He wants to look off the defensive back, go back to Terry Vaughn, and this time he waited too long until it was right there. He didn't see him.
Low snap to Burris, but he makes good on it. Finds Nick Lewis for his 3rd catch of the night. He's already starting to trash talk. Brock Ralph's offside on that last possession just before that interception was costly.
Oh, it was. You got a big return from the Hamilton Ticats special teams. Brock Ralph goes offside, and then it just compounds. They get in a 2nd or 1st and long again. They only get halfway back. They throw the interception. Now they're in trouble. That's how it snowballs on you.
Team in red getting close to that red zone. Play action, Burris taking off. Sliding in. Another 1st down, 13 yards, and now they are officially in that red zone we talked about, although Tom Higgins this week said, why does everybody call it the red zone? Red means stop, we want to go. They should call it the green zone.
Yeah, green if you're on offense, and he did mention, he said, I think the guy who came up with red zone must have been a defensive player. Well, they're right now, this truck is parked in front of the stoplight. Will it be a red light or a green light? Whoa!
Oh, it was flashing red. Wayne Shaw could have gone the distance there had he been able to hang on.
Well, they just changed things up, and Wayne Shaw will not get too many opportunities like this one, because this is the target. This is Copeland right here. He's going to curl down. Now, the job of Wayne Shaw was to come out of the middle of the field at safety and rob the curl. It's called just basically a robber defense for the safety. You get 1 shot a game. That was Shaw's chance, and that was 6.
You know, we talk about receivers who should have caught balls. Well, Wayne Shaw should have caught that ball as a defender. See if it comes back to haunt them, and movement on the line. Burris says that Hamilton moved. Hamilton saying Calgary moved.
Well, you don't get many opportunities because the safety, the responsibility of the safety is 99% of the time to stay deep, be in the middle of the field, read the quarterback's eyes, and flow to the football. Basically, that's his responsibility. He is there to help the halfback so that they can funnel receivers into that position. And that's exactly what the safety, but every now and then, you get a chance where the defensive coordinator will say, okay, we're going to throw you up in the curl. Try to stay back there, bait him, and then jump it.
Calgary, number 50.
Wayne Shaw did everything right.
5-yard penalty, repeats 2nd down.
Except catch the football.
Jay McNeil brings his team back with a procedure call. London, Ontario native, 13th year in the Canadian Football League, all with the Stampeders. Who returned 10 offensive starters this year. So they have a lot of continuity on their offense, unlike Hamilton. Reynolds in the backfield, Burris in the shotgun. Joffrey Reynolds in the draw, and almost picks up the 15 yards himself. 14 yards for Joffrey Reynolds. What a weapon to be able to go to. He's showing you there why he is the leading rusher in the Canadian Football League.
Well, it's a great move on Bernard Cox, because when he gets outside here he is here to start the play, but when he gets outside, Renard Cox has the opportunity to keep to funnel him inside. And you see he lost inside position. There's Cox. Should have been out here funneling into Brooks, but they lose position now with that great move by Joffrey Reynolds. He jumps outside and he's got two guys chasing him instead of being sandwiched between the two.
You've said it best, though. The Cats have not come up with the big stops. 2nd down and 15 there, and actually a great play call in the draw play to Reynolds. Now 3rd and 1.
Yeah, that is a good call. You got to love the call when you're 2nd and long to run draw. It really brings in the element of surprise.
So now 3rd and 1 for the Stampeders, and they're going for it. Reynolds and Cates in the backfield. Burris behind center. A new center, but no problem on the exchange. He plows forward. Wayne Shaw says they didn't get it. Let's see what the spot is here. That will determine whether it's a first down or not. It is a first down.
You know, Rod, you mentioned the continuity in the Calgary offense, and I would agree with you. You look at the receiving core, and their offensive coordinator, Steve Barato's back. Their quarterback, Henry Burris, is back, and that's what quarterbacks want. The same offense, the same system. If there are changes, we mentioned them. They're up on that offensive line, and so far, so good, I think, for the Calgary offensive line. That's another good first down. They dug down there and got it.
Pomiski's done a nice job at center here so far. Tough position. Play action. Good play by Burris. He'll step out about the 4-yard line and then is knocked over the billboard by Renard Cox. And there is no penalty call, but maybe they just said it was incidental conduct. But I'll tell you what, they're lucky they didn't get penalized here.
Let's show you a good block by Comiskey first, then we'll get back to that. He goes out and he's going to chip on the middle linebacker, Bobby Brooks. He does a nice job because it's Brooks who's supposed to be over there to tackle Henry Burris on the sideline. Now let's follow him out. See, he's out of bounds there.
That's Tim
Cheatwood. Well, they're just trying to jump out of the way. Yeah. And Cheatwood put his arm on.
There's the bootleg, and there's the touchdown. Costly turnover.
Yeah, and it's all about leverage on defense, and the Hamilton Tiger Cats lost leverage again. This time, I believe it was Juwan Armour. Every defender has an assignment, and Juwan Armour, who will be over here in your screen right here, Juwan Armour's job is to step up the field and close the gate. Watch what he does. He comes way down low. Joffrey Reynolds right here, bounces to the outside, and goodbye.
It's over.
Excuse me, Hank, Henry Burris.
17-7. Second quarter. And Rambo and Burris are laughing and talking now.
Oh, okay, we better go then. Which one, Shelly? Right here? Shelly. We're heading to the, we're gonna be Section C. I don't see a number yet, so I'll tell you as soon as we get there.
Burris has been.
So,
Well, smiling Hank Burris. Reason to smile right now. His team in front 17-7. He's been dynamite so far. Big kick by DeAngelis. Picked up by Yeast after Quinney. Kind of bounce off his shoulder pads, and Yeast brings it up to just past the 20-yard line. Let's go to Jermaine Franklin now with the biggest fan club, I'm sure, here tonight at McMahon Stadium.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Jim and Shelley Ralph, proud parents of Brett and Brock of the Stamps and Ticats, respectively. Of course, the question is, who do you cheer for?
That's a strange emotion. You come up here, and as you celebrate with one, you feel the pain of the other. It's not an emotion you like. I'd rather watch a doubleheader on a night like tonight.
Now, you guys made the trip about 2.5 hours from Raymond, about 55 friends and family. What does it mean to see your two boys playing professional football? Did you ever think that dream would come true?
We never felt it was. When they got to play college and got opportunity, they had great coaching down in Raymond with Lloyd Fairbanks, and the dream just kind of happened a step at a time, and it's evolved into what it is today, but it's very exciting for the fans and family.
Now, my last question is, have they tried to hook you up with some apparel and you just got to try and stay neutral?
Well, we bought some apparel in Edmonton, and now it sits on the shelf, so we're a little hesitant now, as vulnerable as they are to trades and things happening. So we have Hamilton and Calgary right now, but not too much.
Thanks, guys, and enjoy the night.
Thank you.
Well, we'll see if the Ralph brothers contribute tonight. Jason Moss standing in the pocket to Ronick. And he stretches for a first down. Josh Ronick with 7:16 left before halftime. The Ralph brothers went to Wyoming. They have another brother who actually went to Wyoming as well. Again from Raymond, just in the far south here in the province of Alberta.
Brock Ralph is a speed guy too. And they've been talking about Brock Ralph. We mentioned earlier in the show how Brock Ralph may be the guy that can get up on top and have a target for Jason Moss, present a target for Jason Moss in the deep area of the football field. He can get behind defensive backs in a hurry.
Only 4 first downs for the Tiger Cats so far against 12 for Calgary. Out of the backfield is Yeast. Good block there by Kamal Peterson. Gave Yeast a little more running room, but again, close to another Hamilton first down.
That was a good block, because it would be easy for receivers to pass up a block like that and just kind of sit and spectate after the fact, but it's going to come from the right of your screen. Number 8, Kamal Peterson. He could easily pass up this block on Brian Clark right there, number 48, but he steps right into him, lowers his shoulder, and maybe that bought his teammate another yard or two.
Here's Peterson. Short yardage on second and about a yard for the Tiger Cats, and I suppose there's a certain amount of revenge factor for the Stampeders here tonight, seeing Jason Moss on the other side. Of course, you remember what happened in the playoffs last year when Jason Moss came off the bench for the Edmonton Eskimos, and then everybody had been rumored about the trade that supposedly happened even before the Grey Cup last year, and it came true. Moss did go to Hamilton.
Yeah, he did, and he's got to be frustrating right now for him. I mean, there's a competitive guy. I mean, you talk about, he really is a reflection of his head coach, because they both wear their emotions right out on their sleeves, and when they're upset, you can tell. Jason Moss will get in the face of his teammates. He'll get in he'll get in the mirror and start shouting if he doesn't think he's playing well enough. And, with the interceptions he's thrown early in this season, he can't be happy with that. But again, the word they have to keep thinking about and using is patience.
Between Burris and Moss, they've thrown 50% of the interceptions in the league after 2 weeks. Burris with a few, and Moss now with 5 interceptions to go with 1 touchdown only. Now another 3rd and inches. Probably plunging himself and fighting for it. The Stampeders feel they might have stood him up, but again, it was only inches, and his forward progress probably gave him the first down. We'll see. That was closer than it should have been, though.
Something that Greg Marshall made a point of mentioning yesterday in the press conference was, while their offensive line is starting to get together, he wants to see better run blocking out of them, because he feels that although run blocking isn't as easy as people may think it is, it does give the offensive lineman a chance to get aggressive, especially on a play like that. All they have to do is get low, fire off the ball, and then it's how bad do you want it, to quote Tim McGraw.
There you go. I knew there was going to be a country reference at some point here. Anytime we are west of the Ontario border, there's going to be one from you.
Absolutely.
Or even it doesn't matter, anywhere on this planet.
And that O-line got it done for him, and that's what Greg Marshall wants to see.
Imperative for these Tiger Cats to find a way to get an offensive score before halftime, somehow. Moss, a bullet to Vaughn. Former Stampeder and Eskimo. Won a cup here in Calgary, won a cup in Edmonton, played in Montreal a year ago.
The other thing we haven't seen from the Hamilton offense that we talked about in the first quarter was the deep ball. Again, right now, the Hamilton Tiger Cats are dumping the football. That was a little curl route to Terry Vaughn. Successful, yes. But at what point does this Tiger Cat offense let one fly?
Yeah, go vertical, as they talked about in the pre-game show, 2nd and 1.
And a lot of times, I mean, it's easy to sit back and say, well, you got to go deep. You know, they're 0-2, you got to go deep. There's the update from this game here tonight. 10 yards or less, 8 passes of the 9, and then 11 to 20. None in this area. I mean, one time, Jason Moss has got to drop back there, send them all deep, and just let it rip. If he doesn't complete it, no big deal. But at least the defensive secondary for Calgary now thinks, hey, they may go deep.
The longest pass completion tonight is 11 yards. Conversely, the Stampeders have been able to go vertical and sideways. They've been able to do it so far, but the Tiger Cats are only down 10.
And Jason Moss throws a nice deep ball. I mean, he's got plenty of arm strength. He's got a nice touch on his deep ball. He just hasn't been cut loose to go and do it yet.
A guy he hasn't gone to yet is number 82, DJ Flick, who has got some speed. He's on the far left, top of your screen. Moss is almost dropped in the backfield, had his hand hit, avoided the sack.
Rod, this is a call that they wanted to go deep, and maybe they're wired in, but they wanted to go deep on the corner route right in here, and the corner route was there, and as soon as Jason Moss went to unload it, Scott Coe said, too late.
Former Tiger Cat, drafted by the Ticats back in 02, Scott Coe. Well, another 2nd and long. This is what Moss wanted to avoid against the Tiger Cats, against the Stampeders here tonight. Another dump pass. Ronick will come up a little shy again. Just short. So it could be another 3rd down gamble here. 9-yard pickup.
Jason Moss is signaling that it may be 2 yards. Looks like Joe Palpow wants to go.
One very long yard here. Looks like they're bringing some beef in along the line. It is a long yard, maybe a yard and a half.
And they take Josh Ronick out, which is interesting.
Well, big gamble here. Inside 3 minutes before halftime. 10th play of the drive. And off to Radlin. There was a penalty flag on the play. The Stampeders swarmed him. Not a chance, but a penalty on the play. Radlin says it's against Calgary. Did they jump?
Offside, Calgary, number 53, 5-yard penalty, 1st down.
Moot point now. Calgary jumped. We'll go to break. We'll come back. Final 3 minutes of the first half in Calgary.
Hey kids, make sure to get your
championships and winning 6, never missing the playoffs. Over the years, the Monash High School program has been consistently ranked.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions, and by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet.
So the Tiger Cats, who have been heavily penalized so far in this season, get the benefit of a penalty against Raheem Abdullah, who jumped offside, and so they will continue to march here. The last possession around this territory, Moss threw an interception. This time he goes down.
Consistent pressure. Looked like the Hamilton Tiger Cats had picked up the initial stunt from the Calgary Stampeders because every man had a man. But as Jason Moss started to load up, Sheldon the Bustuck just beat his man.
2nd and 18, 8-yard loss. Bustuck with the sack. 2 sacks here tonight for the Stampeders. Ross, again, only a little dump pass. That's all they've been able to do, and it is not working so far for Hamilton. Ronick nowhere to go, and they'll have to kick it away again. Boys in the studio getting ready for you for Wendy's at the half. I'm sure they'll have a lot to say about the ineptitude of the Hamilton offense right now, and Calgary's offense, which has done a great job, but also Calgary's defenses really hold Jason Moss at bay here.
Well, yeah, and we talk about going deep, but Jason Moss may not have the time to go deep just yet.
Final 2 minutes. Pat Fleming. Spiraling kick. Drop into the end zone, and Kenyon Rambo will give up the point. So it will be 17-8 on the 51-yard kick by Fleming.
53-yard punt single.
Played the Cardell home throw. Throw a series of footballs to the house window at a Calgary Stampeders home game, and you could win a brand new Cardell home. The Cardell home throw. Visit CardellHomes.com to enter.
Okay, Jason, this is how it works. You've got 30 seconds to throw as many footballs. Okay, Jason, here we go. 30 seconds to throw as many footballs as you can from 15 yards out. Simple, you get 10 balls on the fly through the window. You can win yourself a Cardell home. If you get 9 in, Cardell will give you 50 grand, 8, 5 grand, 7, $500. 1 to 6, you're still going home with a great prize. Don't step over that yard line. On your mark. Get set. Go. Cheer them on, folks. Cheer them on.
Well, the FIFA World Cup continues. Check tsn.ca. Available in high definition. The final July 9th on CTV. The quarterfinals have Germany and Argentina, Italy, Ukraine. I wonder who Adriano Belli's cheering for. What do you think?
I think Team Italy might be the guess there.
1:42 to go before the half. Total dominance for the Calgary Stampeders. The interception, pivotal too. Burris, lots of time, goes vertical. Oh, and the catch made by Nick Lewis, who's having an outstanding first half.
Did you see what Nick Lewis did at the end of that play? He stayed in his perfect stride running to the football. young receivers will often stick their arms out way too early, and that slows them down. This ball is put way out in front of Nick Lewis, but he stays in that stride with both arms pumping, and as that ball drops in there, then he stabs the pigskin and tucks it away.
A boomerang week for Nick Lewis, coming back large after one catch last week. Already 100 yards receiving. Burris and the Stampeders on the move again, a flag flying. Movement on the line. Lewis shakes a tackle. This might come back. Maybe against Hamilton.
First real low snap and bad snap from John Comiskey at center. We said we'd be looking at it and see how the young second-year offensive lineman plays at this first start at center.
Offside, Hamilton. That penalty's declined. The gain is greater. First down.
Play will stand, but that was the first one that Henry Burris had trouble with because it was a low snap. And so far, so good for all the newcomers in the offensive line, but there's Comiskey right in there, and he's going to watch the snap come down too low. First of all, Burris has to take his eyes off coverage. He has to gather up the football. Now, he makes something happen because he gets outside, but first low snap.
Anthony Collier offside there in the red zone again. Burris over the middle. Lewis can't hang on this time. Tay Cody all over him.
You know, Tay Cody gave up inside position, but he kept fighting, and that's a good lesson for young defensive backs. Tay Cody wants to take away the inside because Nick Lewis, that's the easiest throw for the quarterback. He gives up inside position, but he times up his close as almost perfectly. Watch the timing as he gets that right arm on the football. Nick Lewis coming across the middle. You want to deny inside position like that, but if you give it up, don't quit.
Second and goal. Burris rolling right to the end zone and picked off by Jason Goss. Goss with room down the sidelines, and he will go. A stunning turn of events again. 106 yards. Interception touchdown for the Tiger Cats and Jason Goss.
And you started to get the feeling with Henry Burris that the timing on that play was off. He was taking a little too long to throw that football. Jason Goss had some time to catch up. He makes a speed turn on Copeland, a blind turn, but because the ball doesn't arrive on time and Henry Burris takes 2 more steps with it, Goss gets better position and is gone. Oh my Goss.
Oh my Goss is right. 7 interceptions last year. This one for a touchdown. And the defense doing all the scoring for the Hamilton Tiger Cats so far, keeping them in this ball game.
When you throw an interception, it's time for the defense to have a free shot on the quarterback, and that's the most important guy to block so that Goss can get to the end zone. So it'll be interesting to see who blocks Henry Burris. And you see Adriano Belli right there, clean Burris right out. He's usually the guy that makes a tackle, the quarterback who threw the interception.
3 key turnovers in the first half, all leading to touchdowns. A fumble recovery, interception return. There's the hit on Henry Burris, and the interception that led to the touchdown by Calgary. So both defenses are pivotal here. 17-15 Stamps with 51 seconds left in the half. And listened, it's easy to listen now. They silenced this crowd in McMahon Stadium.
Well, and talk about timing and how big of a play is that from Jason Goss. The Hamilton Tiger Cats, who looked like defensively, they had nothing going on. I mean, it was Henry Burris having his way, moving the football up and down the field. But down in that green zone, we'll call it red zone on this play. Burris struggles. He's a little bit late with the throw, and Goss is gone the other way. Huge turn of events here tonight.
Jamie Bourne will kick it off. My, oh my. Anything could happen here now. In this one here, looked like Calgary was absolutely dominating this football game. Ruffin again, trying to break outside by Rob Hitchcock. Kamal Peterson there, everyone converging. 42 seconds to go.
Down to the 25-yard line.
Look at the interceptions. I mean, Hamilton 5, yikes. Calgary 4, and the rest of the league, they're doing okay. They like that down there. But the Calgary Stampeders and the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they have to protect that football a little bit better, especially when you're taking points off the board. I mean, what compounds it for Henry Burris is he had at the very least a field goal. And what would have been, you know, a 20, what was it going to be? It would have been a 20-point, 20-7 at that point.
They just haven't been interceptions on both sides. They have been interceptions that have cost them.
Yeah.
Look at last week, Henry Burris in the end zone, Shannon Garrett taking it away, and again, and he and Kenyon Rambo not on the same page. This time into the hands of Jason Goss.
Well, see, look at this speed turn. See, Goss had turned his back to the plate, but because the ball isn't out of Henry Burris's hands in time, he has that extra step to catch up. He gets a good block from Adriano Belli, cuts back on the offensive line, and away he goes. Now, that's the second play in a row that secondary came up big on the goal line. Remember, Tate Cody didn't quit on the slant route on Nick Lewis. He knocks that one down. Jason Goss doesn't quit, even though he's blind to the quarterback for a second. Didn't quit on it, makes a play, and it turns out to be a huge play.
As good as Henry Burris has been here tonight with his numbers, again, that interception now. Wayne Shaw almost took one the distance too, so there have been a couple of tosses that have been questionable from number one.
And both down in that same area of the field. It's almost like something happens to the Calgary Stampeders when they get down in that area.
The pucker factor or something. 17-15.
You know, I mentioned Kavis Reed, and he had to be concerned, and he must have been pumped up after that play because he had to be concerned with Burris moving the ball. And look at Kavis Reed. Kavis Reed over here. There he is up there. Watch it. Kavis Reed is going to make the run with him. Oh, yeah, baby. Here we go. All the way to the house. He's got, oh, that's enough. He's retired. He's been retired for a while.
Didn't want to drop the headset.
He's like, oh, yeah, he's tied up there. He's got a cord. He's got a...
Well, can Calgary get close to another score, though? Answer that. Burris, tight coverage for Nick Lewis again.
And again, pitch and catch for the Calgary Stampeders between the 20s. 6 catches for Nick Lewis in this first half.
CFL Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. Burris launching for Copeland. And there wasn't a chance. Goss was all over him again.
And that's saying something because for Jason Goss to make that interception, take it all the way back the length of the field, come back on defense no more than 60 seconds later.
It's in fairly good shape.
And then have to go deep with Jermaine Copeland again. That's pretty good coverage for Jason Goss, who you know he's got to be tired and breathing hard right now.
And that's not a bad thought for Jermaine Copeland and the Stampeders, thinking, hey, guy just went 106 yards. Why not try him? You're right. He blanketed Jermaine Copeland that time. 28 seconds to go in the first half. Second down, 10 yards to go again for the Stampeders. 6 receivers set. Burris audibles, and there was a flag on the play. That was Copeland. He was 2 yards over the line of scrimmage practically that time. Lewis with the catch, but it looked like Calgary was way offside here.
Interesting, Henry Burris in the shotgun there, how he holds his hands out to receive the football, and then watch how he lifts his hand. Look, his hands are down low here. Now he's going to lift his hands up when he goes to audible. That's telling John Comiskey, the center, hey, don't snap it yet. I'm lifting my hands up. I'm going to change the play. Now he puts his hands back in there, and now he's ready to call the play.
Yeah, you see Copeland there. He was a good yard offside.
Offside. Calgary, number 80, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
Maybe moving his hands up like that messed up Copeland a little bit.
Well, it did, and he tried to do it deliberately. He tried to just slowly go so John Comiskey could see, and also his receivers, hey, wait a minute, I got to change something up here. Copeland didn't see it in time.
Second down and 15, and the Stampeders have been awfully good in this situation tonight.
That's amazing, 2:23, and just it doesn't show on the scoreboard.
No. Strange game here. Pump fake, Burris takes off. He'll get about 10 yards, but is 5 yards shy, so.
Well, if I'm Jerome Erdman, the special teams coach for the Hamilton Tiger Cats right now, I'm putting 11 on the line of scrimmage and saying, let's go try and block it. Calgary Stampeders have to punt the football. They can't give it to Hamilton here, or else a field goal attempt is possible. There's Jerome Erdman, special teams coach for a few years now with the Ticats. But send them all up in the line of scrimmage and see if they can't go and block a punt.
Bert Dales is back, and again, this is a front line for Calgary that's relatively new. Some changes and substitutions made this week.
Well, it looks like the Ticats may play what's called a punt safe. See how they're all kind of staggered back there. They're trying to make sure that Calgary doesn't pull a fast one on them with this much time remaining.
East is back. Fleming at his 30-yard line. Bert Dales, rather, at his 30-yard line. Well, that's a good kick. To the 12. Pens them inside the 15-yard line, a 53-yard kick with 8 seconds to go.
Well, the Hamilton Ticats here just basically get out of this half, and they're going to go to the locker room, look at the scoreboard on their way out, and say, hey, we should be pretty happy with the way it is right now. We've got a touchdown off a Joffrey Reynolds fumble. We've got a touchdown off an interception that went the distance of the field when Calgary was going to put a 24-8 score on the board. Turn it around, 17-15 at the half. That's a big win on the road for the Ticats in the first half.
Well, the defense has gained more yardage than the offense. They'll just play out this second quarter, and they'll happily go to the locker room down 2.
No question.
That is it. Defense doing a lot of the scoring, all the scoring for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Kind of a weird one here in McMahon Stadium so far. 17-15 Stampeders.
Wireless Stamps Text Trivia during every home game. Available on all cell phone networks in Canada. Text STAMPS to Sports 776787 for your chance to win a Rogers pay-as-you-go MP3 music and camera phone. Which Stampeder?
Coach Higgins, another costly turnover in the red zone. How do you avoid those, and is it something to be concerned about?
Oh, absolutely. 2 turnovers, and it's a real tight game, the beauty of the CFL. So we got to find a way to make sure it doesn't happen so we can win a football game.
What do you say to a team that has dominated on both sides of the ball for the most part, but now they're only 2 points up?
Well, it's simple. It's a 30-minute game, and you just relax and just understand that, hey, we did make 2 mistakes, or they made 2 plays. They got themselves in the game. We take care of business, we can win the football game, but it's going to take a good 30 minutes.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
politically correct. Homer always delivers. The Simpsons, Sunday on Fox. The guys are hot, and the girls are. But sometimes looking good just isn't enough. Push to the limit and beyond. A new season of Fear Factor, Tuesday at 9 on Hulu. They have tried before. I don't know. It's been tough. But there's something new in there to overcome your frustrations. AlbertaQuits.ca will help you create a personalized plan to quit smoking with step-by-step solutions, support mechanisms, plus any current information. AlbertaQuits.ca will organize all the details. Log on now and get excited about quitting. Pictures with ease. Shop at Safeway. Ingredients for life.
I don't see the camera. Oh, yeah.
My name is Denny Freehand. I'm
Golf
the
carts there?
assistant head coach and defensive coordinator with the
Goodies.
Calgary Stampeders. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer in July of 2002. When I was working at the university at that time, we were required to take 3 physicals every spring. And the doctor did the internal examination, and he felt something that he felt was out of place, and he sent me for a biopsy, and sure enough, the biopsy came back positive.
My name is Dr. Dean Ruther. I'm a medical oncologist from the Tom Baker Cancer Clinic. We see and treat men with prostate cancer as well as other genitourinary malignancies.
Before I was diagnosed, I knew absolutely nothing about prostate cancer. I had no idea what it was, never did any research on it, never knew anybody that had it, and I was just, rolling along thinking I was fine and healthy and everything was good.
Prostate cancer is an important health consideration for several reasons. It is an extremely common disease, probably the most common form of cancer that affects men. Its incidence is increasing, and so awareness around the diagnosis and treatment of prostate cancer is an important issue for all men.
Somebody out there is listening, and just one person goes to the doctor and finds out that they have this and they get it treated early and get cured, and that's a lifesaver, and that's worth it. So if I can help anybody, then I'm glad to do it.
It is a disease which is detectable early by the appropriate investigations and is often curable if detected early. Even with advanced disease, our ability to manage and control the disease, even if
No, Greg Marshall.
is steadily improving.
My advice to them is go get checked. It's something that you can recover from completely if you get it checked and caught early enough to treat it early.
Back at McMahon Stadium, getting ready for the second half. Henry Burris came out firing. 4 for 4. Opening drive, 11 completions in the first half. Glenn Suter, look at these numbers.
Well, what's amazing about them is they both completed 11 passes, both Jason Moss and Henry Burris, but look at the averages, 7.1 and 20.3. Talking about night and day difference, and that's what Matt Dunnigan talked about at halftime. He talked about Burris is using his weapons, going up on top, down the field. Maybe complete, maybe not complete, but he's stretching the defense, and that's why when he does throw the intermediate route, it looks like pitch and catch, because DBs have to honor the deep receiver. On the other side, the Hamilton Tiger Cats have not done that once again. Dumping the ball off, but not getting the DBs to turn and get out of their back pedal.
Joe Paopao sure talked with Jason Moss in the locker room as they try to devise some sort of scheme. The longest pass play wasn't really a pass, it was a pass and run play. It was 11 yards.
Yeah, and one thing I'm going to look for in this second half is, does Jason Maas have the protection he needs to go deep? You need another steamboat to throw the ball deep because you need to get the receivers down the field. And if the protection there is not solid enough for Jason Maas, that may be one of the reasons. So I'll watch for that in this second half. If he's getting the protection, though, there's no reason why he can't stretch it.
Calgary will kick off to open up the second half here against the wind. They'll have the wind in the fourth quarter. 2-point game, 17-15 Stampeders. Scored on their opening drive. This kick, a pooch kick. And it could go right back to Calgary, and it looks like, did it? Bounced all the way back to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Julian Radlin, it looks like, had the ball bounce off of him. It bounced off his stamp. A little pinball here to open up the third quarter.
Well, not a bad strategy for Calgary. It is called the pooch kick. You just put it high, and you give your cover team a chance to get down under the ball. Maybe that distracts the receiver, and Julian Radlin took his eyes off. Just for that split second, the ball bounces around and ends up right back in a Ticat hand.
So Jason Maas back to work. Twin eye here with Radlin and Ronick in motion now. Ronick in the backfield. Carried the load offensively. Radlin gets it though. Shakes off a one tackle and is able to pick up a couple of extra yards. Kobe Reinhart tried to trip him up, but Radlin was able to stride past him.
Ticats in the first half. 15 points is something that they have to be pretty happy about after a half a football win. Really could have been a lot worse.
Defense had more yards than the offense. Ronick, 2nd and 2 battling, and this will depend on the spot. Looks like it's very close to the first down. Not many first downs for the Tiger Cats. Again, an offense that had a lot of changes in the offseason. Scott Coe in on the tackle, former Ticat. And they will move the yardstick. So the Ticats now in Calgary territory. Jason Maas feeling a little pressure, I'm sure. I know it's only the third game of the season, and it's not a must-win situation for the Tiger Cats, but they know it's in a very important game here tonight. Ronick bowling his way for a big gainer. Josh Ronick for 19. Lived up to his nickname there, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. And the offensive line did a nice job at the point of attack. Check out here. Wayne Smith right in here. He's going to make a nice block along with Damian Cook to his right. Here comes the blocks he needs. Now Josh Ronick does a good job of cutting up into that hole. And watch how he can move laterally while he's still gaining ground.
Again, he was ineffective last week against Montreal. Good for him tonight so far. Moss on the backfield to Radlin again. Julian Radlin colliding with John Grace. 4-yard pickup for Radlin.
You know, one of the reasons you go to Julian Radlin out of the backfield, one, he's a headache for any tackle because of his size and strength. 6'2", almost 250 pounds. But the other is a changeup because defense, of course, will key on Josh Ronick.
Now Peterson comes out wide left. 2nd and 7. To the air goes Moss, or tries to at least. He loses the football.
Okay, so this is a chance for Jason Maas to go deep like we've been talking about. He had a receiver deep but was well covered. It looked like he had his offensive line doing the job they had to do because he did have enough time to step up in the pocket. But does he have a target? This time Jason Maas wants to go deep. He's got Craig East going right down. Now Craig East pulls it up and curls. He's got a wheel that curls. There was one other receiver right down the middle of the field that was well covered. And finally that pocket collapsed on him.
Well, a guy who faced a lot of pressure as well this week from the media, Jamie Borum, 0 for 3 last week, has missed 4 of 7 this season. This coming from the 37 for the lead. Line drive kick, splits the uprights, And the Tiger Cats, for the first time tonight, are on top, 18-17.
It's now time for the Classic Rock Q107 Stampeder Outriders.
Pride in the backstretch, holidays going to the inside. My tears are holding back there, I'm trying not to fall. My heart's out of the running, too loud scratch for another saint. Race is on and it looks like heartaches, and the winner loses all. The winner loses all.
What are you going to do here? Jason Moss, big story in the offseason for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, getting him as their quarterback. Story tonight, Jason Goss, 109-yard interception late in the first half, and that field goal by Jamie Borum putting the Ticats on top.
Which, by the way, is tied for the third longest interception for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Lewis Porter, Charlie Brown, Paul Bennett on top of that list. And now Jason Goss.
J.R. Ruffin hurtling up to the 30-yard line. Turnovers, the key here so far tonight and last week.
Well, another good game in between the 20s for the Calgary Stampeders on offense. That was the key turnover for them that cost them the game. And this one that has now given the Hamilton Tiger Cats, after that last field goal, the lead in a game that Henry Burris has already thrown for 300 yards.
Just noticed right there how close Jason Goss was to stepping out of bounds as well along that sideline. Constant lament here so far this season for both of these teams. Inability to protect the football. Joffrey Reynolds cuts back. Tay Cody brings him down, a 5-yard pickup.
You know, I've been impressed with the play of, well, Jason Goss has had the obvious play, but also of Tay Cody. Tay Cody's had a couple quiet knockdowns, one down at the goal line on Nick Lewis, and he makes a pretty good tackle on Joffrey Reynolds there, who looked like he had some room to the outside, but Cody closed in a hurry, makes a good open field tackle. Greg Marshall likes Tay Cody, thinks he's one of the most physical, if not the most physical defensive back in the CFL.
Came over in the trade with Brock Ralph last year for Troy Davis from Edmonton in October. Burris to the sky. Thurman, who's been quiet for a while, drops the football, and Hamilton has recovered. Lakeem Bradley has it.
Wayne Shaw is the guy who's going to come from the safety position to help out on here. And just as we were talking about Tay Cody, he makes a bit of a mistake and overruns Elijah Thurman on the outside. It's going to happen to the right of your screen. Now, both tacklers right there for the Ticats make the mistake of both getting outside. But watch Shaw from the backside, throws that right arm under, strips the football, and Bradley comes up with it.
Keane Bradley, second-year Ticat, and Wayne Shaw, the veteran. Another turnover. Shovel to Josh Ronick. And that's good for about 6 or 7 yards. And again, Josh Ronick and that shovel pass. Often we see that with the Ottawa Renegades.
Wayne Shaw had a chance at an interception earlier, went through his hands. That's a big play for him to strip that football. That's why coaches tell receivers and running backs, when you have that football, you tuck it away. Make sure both tips are gone.
2 fumbles tonight by the Stampeders. One led to a touchdown right away. The second one also might. We'll see. Ronick, flag on the play. On 2nd and 4, got to the line of scrimmage.
2nd and 4 is a long way to go to run an off-tackle running play, even for Josh Ronick, as good as he is. And see what the penalty is here and how they decide to go with it.
Holding. Hamilton, number 33. That penalty's declined. 3rd down.
So that will bring out Pat Fleming.
I was going to say it makes it a bit of a long field goal attempt for Jamie Borum. I mean, right now you'd be looking at about a 53 or 4 yarder.
We talked about Borum facing some media heat this week and some scrutiny, also some pressure because the Ticats brought in another kicker.
Yeah, Jonathan Ruffin out of the University of Cincinnati is now in camp for Hamilton, and you know Jamie Borum is aware of that.
Former Manitoba Bison. Kenyon Ramos back. Wobbler directed out of bounds. About the 25-yard line. The Stampeders will try to march. This is going way back, actually. Hamilton leading 18-17, and Henry back to work after this.
All right, our group 3 contestants from tonight's Bow Valley College get their faster challenge over Tracy, Machette, and Martin. They'll be racing carrying their Bow Valley College books to make it to class on time. They've got to run to the BBC letters, make one full loop around the marker, and make it back across the west hash marks first. Catch. You've got to make it back here with all your books. Tonight's winner will win an iPod Shuffle and come back on October 15th for a chance to win an iPod Hi-Fi, a complete home stereo, and flash package, all courtesy of Bow Valley College. Are you ready? On your mark, get set, go! Cheer 'em on!
The CFL on TSN is brought to you in part by Holiday Inn Hotels, the official business hotel of the CFL. With free high-speed internet in every room, the office is just a click away.
Rod Black and Glenn Suter with you. Week 3 in the Canadian Football League. Beginning tonight, Calgary Stampeders locked in a 1-1 tie with all the teams in the CFL West. Right now, trailing the Ticats 18-17. Scrimmaging from their 20. Henry Burris faked out everyone.
Anthony Collier got caught way down inside, and pretty nice job of blocking done by the offensive line. Number one, to sell the play, because they sell the play by moving to their left. And when they do that, watch these guys right across the board here. They're going to move in this direction here. And when they do that, that draws the defense with them. And then Henry Burris takes it the other side. And Anthony Collier, number 98, goes, whoa, baby, I'm way in here in the pack, and I've got contained.
Leading rusher tonight for the Stampeders is Henry Burris.
Red 30!
You know, Anthony Collier, Rod, comes in for James Cotton. And
Number 25, Wes Cates gets the carry.
it's a change that Greg Marshall feels pretty comfortable with. He's got decent depth in the defensive line, but haven't really disrupted Henry Burris, except for maybe a couple times down in the green zone, but really disrupted him as much as we expected.
Very good acquisition for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Guy had 12 sacks last year. 5 sacks in one game. The Ottawa Renegades did not make it with the Edmonton Eskimos released. Finds a home in Hamilton. 2nd and 6. In and out.
Nick Lewis. I like the call, though, from Cavis Reed, the defensive coordinator for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because he went with pressure. He put Bobby Brooks up in the line of scrimmage and sent some pressure and forced a quicker throw than Henry Burris wanted to do. He wanted to get it out when Nick Lewis had a chance to make his cut and turn and present a target. And he had to rush it a little bit because of the pressure.
Bert Dale's back at his 28-yard line. Craig Yeast at his 20. This is against the wind here.
Give him the white. Give him the white. Give him the white.
What a good kick for the second-year punter. Yeast has to go wide and swarm there. Wrestled to the ground. 40-yard kick. -2 on the return.
48 yards for Bert Dales. And -2 on the return.
It's time for the Ultimate Tailgate, brought to you by Bushnell. Where's your single barrel Bushnell compact firearm binoculars, courtesy of London Drugs, and an Ultimate Stamps Tailgater chair available at the Stamp Store.
So close. Oh my God. I'm Gordon Bennett with AM 776. It's time to find our Bushnell tailgater. We found one right here. Tailgater crew with Warren and Patty. Just showing you right now. You don't have to have a big crew, have a good tailgate. Stuff on the ready to go. Stuff a little wood carving back there. I think I've been there since the 70s. The tailgater of the game, I've got to tell you all the good stuff you got. You're already holding a Bushnell waterproof future binoculars. You saw it from the Casper's Bob. You also get this. Only available in the Sam's Store. The stamps, tailgate chair. Let's hear it for Ron and Patty. Tailgaters in the game. Tonight's official attendance is 28,396. Calgary Stampeders, thank you for letting us entertain you tonight.
.17 left in the third quarter, a 1-point ball game for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Everybody talked about the offense for the Ticats in the offseason. It's kind of like a ticking time bomb. They're going to explode sometime. You wonder when.
Well, they have the talent to do it, and get one out there to Kamal Peterson. Still working that short passing game. However, you're right. They have the talent to explode, and maybe this is the drive they do it.
Jason Moss has been unable to engineer anything tonight. Have not been able to go vertical, as you mentioned earlier. Really haven't been able to spring anybody. DJ Fleck to the right of Moss. Peterson to the left. Ronick in the backfield, 2nd and 1. Gets the ball.
You know, the times that I have seen them attempt to stretch the football and go deep with it, they've had a little breakdown here or there. Either their protection is broken down around Jason Moss, or the receiver that he intended to throw to was well covered. And that all adds up to this, which is 14 completions, 10 yards or less, and just that one 11-yarder in that next category.
You know, you figure you got a guy out there like number 2 who's been around and known for big gainers as well, like Terry Vaughn. Moss, the curl and throw, Radlin.
You know, and some credit has to go to the defenses that the Ticats have played in the last 2 games, primarily. One against Montreal Alouettes that is a pressure package, and if the quarterback hangs on to the football, well, he just basically gets run over with it. So Ticats had to throw it there quickly, and here against that linebacking core of Brian Clark, George White returns, John Gray, Scott Coe. I mean, that's one of the best in the league, and you got to give them credit for forcing Jason Moss to throw it underneath.
They have put a lot of pressure on number 11 so far here. 2nd and 4 again. Shotgun for Moss, slips over the middle, nothing there, so takes off again and stretches. And he is very close to the first down. He's had to do a lot of dancing in the pocket.
You know, and Greg Marshall said yesterday at the press conference that his offensive line had done a pretty nice job of pass protection. He wanted to see them become more aggressive when it comes to run blocking. Just take a look at the big boys up front. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 along the board. And let's just take a look at the pass protection. Nice double team in the middle. Jason Moss has a little bit of a pocket to step up into, and really, you know, 3 or 4 steamboats is all you should have to have as the quarterback to let it go and have that completion. I think his offensive line gave it to him there, and now the secondary had shut down the receivers.
Old Renegades coach Joe Paopao, now the offensive coordinator for Greg Marshall and the Tiger Cats. So another 3rd down here. They've had a number of 3rd and 1s. Maybe too many. Straight ahead, should be a 1st down on forward progress.
You know, and let's not forget, I mean, you know, I don't want it to sound like we're criticizing the offensive game plan. It's just to sprinkle in a couple of deep balls is the question. Remember, Joe Paopao as an offensive coordinator has had lots of success throughout the Canadian Football League in his time. I mean, he's a great quarterback, 1, but number 2, he was a coordinator in the BC Lions team that won the Grey Cup with Damon Allen, a running game with Robert Drummond and Sean Millington, and that was very ball control style of offense and was very successful. He's got a similar type of situation in that he's got 2 great running backs in Hamilton, so he's had success with his game plan.
Wow, 16 for 18. Take off again. 16 for 18 for Jason Moss. Keep in mind, a lot of those passes haven't been very long. Has the CFL record for most consecutive passes thrown, 22. Set that back in 2004. The guy whose record he beat, stood for a long time, is now his offensive coordinator, Joe Paopao.
And Jason Moss had a chance to go to DJ Flick, who was open to the right of your screen. DJ Flick is going to be open up at the top corner, but he's running so hard, Moss is, that he can't load it up and throw it. So 82 looks for a block.
They have had a number of 2nd and 4s as well. Here's another. Looks to the sideline, down the sideline. Nothing there. First time tonight he was looking at DJ Flick.
Yeah, and looking deep. You know, and that's not bad. That's an incompletion. And listen, 2nd and 4 is not a bad situation. You mentioned there's a lot of them. There's DJ Flick up at the top. Now, let's just take a look at him go down the sideline. Little outside move, now he's going deep. And Kobe Reinhardt in coverage in pretty good position, but Jason Moss does take a chance. Now, both Chapman and Kobe Reinhardt know, hey, DJ Flick may go deep.
Jason Moss to the sideline. Pat Fleming into the game. Kenyon Rambo at his 21. Nice boot by Fleming. Sends Rambo to his 5. And he has tripped up at his 10. It's 18-17 with 3.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter.
And how about the kick? 57 yards. 3 on return.
Again, selling that fake, doing a great job with it. Jermaine Copeland could not haul it in. Once again, great coverage on him down the sideline. They've gone to that fake a lot here in this game tonight as Copeland checks out the replay to see if there was a penalty. Well, the player of the game is brought to you by Rogers Wireless Glenn Suter. Rogers brings you 2006 FIFA World Cup video highlights on the latest MP3 phones, and on your phone you can go in and text in Go CFL and vote for your player of the game. 21 Hamilton would have to be considered.
By looking at the numbers, the stats, you wouldn't think that Hamilton is ahead, but Jason Goss with a 109-yard interception return. Nick Lewis had a good night.
He's had a terrific night, Nick Lewis, compared to last week. Again, Calgary penned in deep. Penalty flag, likely a holding call. Copeland up to the 45, but I think this one is coming back.
Yeah, it may come back, but what a throw by Henry Burris.
Great throw.
This is really phenomenal how Henry Burris can roll to his left like this, and with the flick of a wrist.
Holding. Calgary, number 66. It's a 10-yard penalty. We'll go back half the distance to the goal line. Repeat, second down.
And this play is not going to stand. You heard the holding call, but watch the throw one more time. Henry Burris rolling hard to his left, gets the hips and shoulder around, and with his strong arm, a nice ball that leads Jermaine Copeland into the middle, which was the opposite direction that Henry Burris was moving. That's why, you know, if you're Tom Higgins and Henry Burris struggles all the way up until Labor Day, you stick with Henry Burris.
Makes you wonder, though, in this game, Danny McManus, who knows the Ticats so well, would like a kick at the Cats. We'll see. Second down, 15, a net loss of 35 on the play. Throws the bomb again, and Copeland has it. Lost it. The official is down on the field. Calgary has the football back.
There's shrapnel everywhere.
Oh my goodness, and officials down, the ball was down, a penalty flag was down, the Stampeders come up with the football.
But let's see what the call is, whether it be offensive or defensive pass interference. It looked like there was some pushing and shoving. Jermaine Copeland initially was working on Jason Goss down the seam. Safety blitz, so there's no one in the middle. Now here's the pushing and shoving going on, and you see Jason Goss go down. Copeland comes up with the ball. That's where the flag came out. Now, is the call offensive or defensive? That is a legal fumble. I don't know. It depends on how they call that. A bunch of different looks. Both were pushing and shoving a little bit. Now, there was the right hand of Copeland on the back of Jason Goss. That may be what the officials saw, and that's maybe what they called, but we'll have to wait and see how they sort that out. And then there's the fumble on the end of the play.
There's field judge Kim Murphy getting up.
Forward pass interference.
He was dusted in the play.
Hamilton, number 21.
Yeah, they call it the other way.
So Jason Goss victimized this time. Well, they almost got it back, though.
Yeah, there was pushing and shoving both angles, and the one angle we saw was with Copeland's hand on the back of Goss. You wonder if that's what the officials saw, but clearly we saw the back of Goss, and inside he was pushing and shoving Copeland as well. Just one more look from the side, a little push there.
What a huge play at this time in the game with 1:58 in the third quarter. 70-yard pickup. Stampeders had the ball at their 5-yard line. The field judge is back.
You know, the one thing that Jermaine Copeland did a nice job of there was to always keep his eyes on the football. As that ball was coming down, even though there was pushing and shoving, his face and head was always looking back at the ball. So if the official is trying to judge who is interfering with who, if Goss's eyes and head are down around the shoulder pad area and Copeland's is up at the football, you're going to see Copeland look back to the football.
Greg Marshall just threw the yellow flag on the field. The officials are coming over, challenging the call.
But you can't challenge pass interference. You can't challenge whether or not that is interference. You can't challenge possession. Any judgment call by the official is not a challengeable call. In other words, penalties.
The officials perhaps now talking about this. fumble on the field. Reynard Cox knocked the ball out, and then they were wrestling for the football, and Calgary came up with it.
Well, both the fumble and the catch were clean. I mean, the fumble was...
Maybe they're talking about the recovery, perhaps. Tay Cody was there. Maybe they're talking about what you can challenge. This is a work in progress for a lot of people, including the players and coaches.
Well, this is the routine now. The officials, they have to talk about the official that was on the scene first. The head official, Glenn Johnson, has to go and talk to the official that was closest to the play. He finds out if it's a reviewable call. Then they'll go back and discuss it with Greg Marshall to talk to him whether or not it's a play that's reviewable. But the catch itself, which possession is reviewable, was not in question.
Hamilton wanted to challenge that they had possession of the football. Possession in the field of play is not a challengeable item. Therefore, the play stands.
Okay, so this is how
Glenn Johnson.
Yeah, this is how it breaks down. The catch is not reviewable, or wasn't in question. Neither was the fumble. What Greg Marshall wanted to challenge was who recovered it. And that's a judgment call by the officials at the bottom of a pile, and they gave it to Calgary, and that is not reviewable.
Here are the plays that are reviewable, in case you're new to this.
Yeah, and possession rulings simply means, was it complete, incomplete? Was it a fumble, not a fumble? That was not in question in this play. The question was, once the ball was on the ground in the middle of the field, that's not a reviewable play. It's a judgment call by the officials.
Henry Burris has thrown a touchdown pass. Came back in the opening drive here tonight to Elijah Thurman. He's had trouble in the red zone, though, again this week. Joffrey Reynolds spinning, and Anthony Collier there for the takedown, along with Tay Cody. Minute and a half to go in the third quarter. Here's the end of the play. Again, there's the field judge down.
Ticats had Calgary Stampeders 3-1 there, but
Kenyon Rambo was in on that fumble, and I guess that's what they're saying, is that that's in Greg Marshall's mind.
Yeah,
that Tay Cody had the football,
but that ruling made by the official is not challengeable, not reviewable.
2nd and 7. Out of the backfield to Rambo, knocked out of bounds for a first down. First catch tonight, Kenyon Rambo. Got into it with Henry Burris a week ago.
But talk about a huge play. Now the question for the Hamilton Tiger Cats is, can they bounce back? Can they snap out of that? Because it has to be a huge emotional letdown to give up a huge play like that when the Stamps are back in their own 5-yard line.
Final minute, third quarter. Burris, nobody home. Broken route that time. He's looking for Scotty Anderson. And again, that's his first game he's had a catcher tonight. It's his first game as a Stampeder.
And I asked Burris about that. I asked him about, okay, you get down there, what happens? Is it something when you get in the red zone, the green zone, however you want to call it? But when you get in that scoring zone, what happens? He said it's a matter of breakdowns. It's just, we're taking turns. That was Scotty Anderson's turn, ran the wrong route. But they're taking turns making mistakes when they get down there. It's got to be consistent. All 12 have got to do the right thing down there or it breaks down.
Those breakdowns have led to a loss last week against the Eskimos. Losses in possession here tonight. 18-17 Ticats with 24 seconds left in this third quarter. Well, NASCAR fans can tune in Saturday for the Pepsi 400 from Daytona International Speedway. Coverage will begin at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. Also available on TSN High Definition. NASCAR on TSN, the Pepsi 400.
Check draw now.
Big play for the Hamilton defense right here.
Anderson wide left. Marcus Howell wide right. Burris jumps out of the pocket. he'll come a little shy of the first down. Bobby Brooks in on the tackle.
Three-man pressure from the Hamilton Tiger Cats, basically going to drop everybody else into coverage, and Brooks was one of the guys that drops back into the pass coverage, but closed in a hurry.
So 3rd and 1, and they will not be going for it.
But if you do, and I didn't get the heads up on this at all, but if you do want to fake and have a fake field goal in your package, this is the ideal time to run it. You're down in that end of the field anyway, so if it doesn't work, the downside's not too bad. You only need a yard.
Well, this for the lead after 3 quarters, and almost automatic this season. Sandro DeAngelis. Now 9 of 10 on the season. 2018 Calgary after 3 quarters at McMahon Stadium on TSN.
Ends over tonight's contestant, Tim. Tim will have 30 seconds to find the Harmony Airways jacket to win a round trip airfare from here to Vancouver, courtesy of Harmony Airways. We need your help as traffic controllers. The closer Tim gets to the ticket jacket, cheer. Further away Tim gets to the ticket jacket, boom. All right, let's go.
I don't know if you can figure anything into these numbers here tonight. The stats of the 3rd quarter brought to you by Rona, proud league-wide sponsor of the Canadian Football League.
Well, if you take a look at the stats, 425 yards net for Calgary, and if I was going to guess the score, I'd say it's about a 25-point Calgary lead based on the numbers you see right there. It's a 2-point game.
Well, not only that, here, 2 inconsistent teams to start the season, very inconsistent, and an inconsistent night, kind of a strange night here.
Very strange night. 109-yard interception return for a touchdown for the Ticats, Jason Goss. You've got the fumble recovery for the touchdown for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. A 70-yard play that had everything in it for Calgary that turns into a field goal. We're seeing almost everything. We may even see your return for a touchdown before it's over.
Maybe. Jason Moss. Good completion percentage here tonight. He just hasn't thrown it over 10 yards. Craig Yeast fights for the first down, very close, and it looks like they'll move the yardsticks. It's just been a nickel and dime short change attack for Moss and the Ticats.
Well, what the Ticats are hoping is that nickel and dimes add up to big money, and that remains to be seen, because ball control offense and short passing games can be effective because you can get yourself in second and short situations, which is to the advantage offense.
17 of 20 is Jason Moss. Again, just short strikes. Ronick. Once again, they're going to be faced with a 2nd down, 7 this time, and a throwing down for Moss and the Ticats.
8 carries for Josh Ronick, and you got to wonder if Greg Marshall's being a little cautious with Josh Ronick, considering his injury situation, not trying to overwork him in this one.
Corey Holmes could have been a big addition here tonight, but he's watching with that sprained ankle. They could use him. Moss going deep for Flick.
Well, he had it all. Jason Moss had DJ Flick one-on-one on Kobe Reinhardt. Flick had got in behind coverage. He had great protection upfield, or up front, I should say. There's DJ Flick out here at the outside. He's going to end up taking a little bit of an inside route and then bounce back to the outside and get around. You see he's got a step on Kobe Reinhardt, and then the ball is just slightly overthrown. But, you know, one could say that they haven't really practiced that much.
Come on, Todd. Come on,
Another
Dave.
punt here tonight for Fleming.
Come on, Dave.
Rambo at his 20. 2-point Stampeder lead early in the fourth quarter. There is a flag on the play.
But you know what, Rod? That deep throw could open things up as this quarter goes on and the game runs out here for underneath stuff for DJ Flick.
It's time to guess the play.
So even though it was incomplete, it's not a bad idea.
They haven't gone to it at all tonight. Only a
Holding.
couple of times, both to
Calgary
Flick.
number 45, 10-yard penalty and the run back. First down.
So that will take them
Timeout.
back a little further. A scrimmage near their 20 when we come back to Calgary.
Game winners will walk away with a $100 Lazy Boy gift certificate. And the season winners will walk away with a home theater seating system. Guess the play.
Opportunity. Ryan has the opportunity to answer the following question correctly and win a $100 gift certificate from Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Be invited back to the final stamp zone game to try to win a $4,000 Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries gift certificate. Are you ready? Here is your question. I'll take you back on the clip here. This is last year's September 17th game versus the Hamilton Tiger Cats during the third quarter. The Ticats have the ball. The quarterback Kahari Jones drops back to pass. We'll tell you what he does next. Does he A, get picked up by Stampeder defensive back Jermaine Chapman? B, complete a pass to Hamilton receiver DJ Flick? Or C, throw an interception to Stampeder safety Ray Young? How about people? Your answer is, he says B, completes a pass to Hamilton receiver DJ Flick. Let's have a look.
Last weekend it was Alonso in Montreal. Who will it be this week in Indianapolis? Formula One United States Grand Prix. Coverage on TSN begins at 12:30 Eastern on Sunday, 9:30 Pacific. And again, the Stampeders are penned back in their zone. They lead by 2 here in the fourth quarter. Tad Cornegay with the tackle on Elijah Thurman on the far side.
Now, Airman Justin early on was beaten by Elijah Thurman on a corner route in the first series for the Calgary Stampeders, and since then Tad Cornegay has moved out to that corner position. I wonder if Airman Justin was hurt, or maybe the coach decided Thurman was open too much early on.
Stamps have been able to extricate themselves deep in their zone a few times already on situations like this. See if they do it again. 2nd and 6. Too high that time for Jermaine Copeland.
Nice route by Jermaine Copeland, though. He kind of ran inside like he was going to run a curl and then basically spun to the outside. We'll have a good look at it for you. This is a tough route to cover because DBs want to take away the inside, so they'll jump that. Then he spins back to the outside, is open. The ball is just a little bit high from Henry Burr, so that's a first down for Calgary, but nice route running from Copeland. Who, by the way, sorry, Rod, but by the way,
yes,
his mom, Glenda, called from Tennessee after last game, said, yes, get your hair done. And he had the big thing. Yeah, I guess the hair.
She was talking to you.
No.
Oh, okay.
She was talking to her son, Jermaine.
Greg East swallowed up at the 39-yard line, 20-18 Calgary.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Wendy's, the official hamburger of the CFL. Do Wendy's, do what tastes right. By Rona, proud league-wide sponsor of the CFL. And by Rogers Wireless, Rogers brings you 2006 FIFA World Cup video highlights on the latest MP3 phones.
First and 10, Tabbies at the 39.
Yeah, that's what happened. See, Jermaine Copeland had his hair was all like out in the and sticking out of the helmet and stuff. And Mom called and said, and Jermaine Copeland thought, you know, Mom was calling to talk about the game or how's the season going or are you hurt or not hurt or how you feeling. And she just basically said, could you get your hair done?
You know, a few moms called. The guy standing on the sideline next to him, Kenyon Rambo, had to make a call to his mom after that last game. Apparently, you know, he wanted to make sure that
everything was okay.
Everything was okay. Didn't think that, you know, her son had flipped out or something.
Yeah.
Watching that heated exchange. That's behind them now. 1 yard loss that time for the Tiger Cats. 2nd and 11. Again, a dump pass. Nowhere to go upfield. So Josh Ronick gets another first down. It's been a lot of this, and you know this offense, they have Jason Moss this year, and they went and traded for him, but this offense starting to remind me a lot of the old offense with Danny McManus.
Well, you know, they're similar. They're pocket passers, both of them. Now, Jason Moss runs a little better than Danny McManus when he was in Hamilton or wherever Danny McManus has been, now with the Calgary Stampeders. But that's the same kind of thing. Ball control, quick release. Now, I know McManus slung it deep a few times in his career.
Well, his percentage, you can see why Jason Moss, too, a control passer, why he has the CFL record for consecutive tosses. And
well,
he
he's
works
very
that
accurate.
offense.
Yeah, he's very accurate. And, you know, in fairness to Joe Paopao, who's putting together an offense to build it around Jason Moss, he wants to use Jason Moss's strengths. And one of his strengths is how accurate he is with the football. So ball control becomes something that is a favorable decision for that offense.
Right now, you want to protect it, too. That interception earlier tonight was costly. The only blemish, really, on Jason Moss so far. Pump fakes down the sidelines. Fight for the football, picked off by Kobe Reinhardt. Fight for the football, and Reinhardt wins. Interception number 2 by Moss here tonight. Went up and got it. Took it away.
On Thursday, May 11th, 2006, the Calgary Stampeder Football Club held its President Luncheon, presented by Calgary Economic Development. The event took place at the TELUS Convention Center and was held to honor offensive lineman Jay McNeil as the 2005 President's Ring recipient. This honor is presented annually at the conclusion of each football season to a player who is voted by his teammates as having exceptional motivational and leadership skills on and off the field. McNeil has been named Western All-Star 4 times and CFL All-Star 2 times.
Jay, there's no bigger honor than winning this President's Ring. The fact that you win it speaks volumes of what you do around this organization and this club and this community. So Jay, I want to congratulate you. It's been an honor playing with you and being one of your teammates.
Jay, congratulations on being the President's Ring Award winner, and I look forward to seeing you this upcoming season and start training with you pretty soon.
Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure and look forward to another outstanding year.
Congratulations, Jay.
No way.
Jeez. Rich get richer.
All right, we're going to take you back to the second quarter for the clinch of the game. Sheldon, the pass.
Welcome back to Turnover Thursday.
Another interception for Jason Moss. Here are the two principals in the play. DJ Flick, Kobe Reinhardt out there one-on-one on the corner. You know, Jock Climby and Matt Dunnigan talked about this in the pregame show when we talked about Jason Moss going deep with the football. At some point, the quarterback has to have confidence that the receiver in a tight matchup like that will come down with the ball.
There's that fake again by Burris. Nick Lewis took it away from another potential pickoff, but Henry Burris keeps using that little play action forward fake handoff, and it's fooling everybody.
Well, it's getting him outside. It's getting him the field of vision, but just a bad angle from Wayne Shaw there, because Shaw has a chance at another interception. He had a similar play early that he dropped. This one, he has a nice break on the ball, but instead of going inside at the football, he takes an outside angle, and Nick Lewis steps back to the ball, what a good receiver should do.
Already 6 more catches tonight and over 155 yards more than last week. Look out here. Burris loses the football, and who's got it? Might be Hamilton. It is. Devontae Peterson has the football. The turnovers continue.
And the Bluebirds are out in Calgary. Big play from the Hamilton Tiger Cat defense. Tim Cheatwood gets upfield, and between him and Collier, flush Henry Burris and make him step up. Collier keeps hustling, gets the strip. Greg Marshall, the first one to congratulate Anthony Collier.
8.5 minutes to go. Back and forth. They continue to cough up the football here tonight. And Greg Marshall saying, thank goodness for my defense right now.
Well, absolutely. I mean, the defense is responsible for the scoring, number one. And in this second half,
Procedure,
the defense.
Hamilton, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
And the defense has been stopping Henry Burris, and not only stopping, but turning the ball over like Anthony Collier did with that big strip. So, yeah, absolutely. Full marks for the Hamilton defense. Played way better in the second half in limiting yardage, but they've also scored twice.
Penalty against the Ticats, so now 1st and 15, back to the 45. Moss scrambling out of the pocket, puts his head down, brought down only a couple of yards. You know, a night like tonight with all these turnovers might come down to the guys with the toes.
Yeah, and if it does, you know that Tom Higgins is confident with his guy, Sandro DeAngelis. The question is Greg Marshall confident with his in Jamie Borum? Now, he has made one tonight, but prior to that, 0 for his last 4. And the misses were ugly misses.
Here are the career numbers. Maybe coming back here, though, his first ever start was here in Calgary back in 2004. Went 4 for 4 and had the game-winning field goal. Moss fires out of the backfield. Ronick with some room.
Well, does Greg Marshall try him now? I mean, you look at the gain here, it's about the 37-yard line. That makes it around a 45-yard field goal attempt. Borum's longest successful field goal on the year was 40.
Here he comes.
Coming into tonight, and he's out there now. The risk is always on these long field goals, the fact that there's good returners in the league. And for Hamilton, a missed field goal here means offensive linemen are covering. That's what puts more pressure on the kickers with the quality of returners in the Canadian Football League.
Borum 1 for 1 tonight from the 44 again to put the Ticats out on top. It's been beleaguered lately. Kick is up, and it's good.
Oh, baby.
Redemption. Likes McMahon Stadium, Jamie Borum. Hamilton back by 1.
Time for the Pizza Hut Minute of Madness with our 200th limited edition Josh Grace t-shirts into the crowd. Pizza Hut, ATV Financial, that's 50 pairs of Sunday ever. If you're trying to t-shirt autographed by Josh Grace, you want a Pizza Hut Minute of Madness video. Stand up and make some noise. Come on.
Man, it is a cruel world if you're a kicker. Goat or hero week to week, and tonight, Jamie Borum, after not having a good week last week, has delivered in spades. 2 for 2, that one from 44. Ticats lead 21-20. Once again, J.R. Ruffin on the return.
You know, that is a big kick for Jamie Borum, and you got to feel good for Borum because every player in his career goes through this at some point. When the pressure's on, he knows the coach is watching. They bring in another kicker. It was Jonathan Ruffin watching. He was 0 for his last 4. He's made 2 tonight, a 38-yarder, and that big 44. And good for Jamie Borum to celebrate like he is now. They may need him again, but those are 2 big kicks, especially that last one at 44 yards. So good for Jamie Borum for picking up his game when he knew he had to.
We have seen this story unfold the last few years with some younger kickers in the CFL. They'll think about Matt Kellett and guys who've had to go to other teams. Paul McCallum had some troubles. They've all gone through their little struggles and challenges, but it's really good when you can turn it around and come back with a good performance. We'll take a break and come back. There's an injury on the field. Tonight.
First and 10, Calgary Stampeders in their 30.
Back live now at McMahon Stadium, 6:32 to go. Stampeders trying to respond now, and Joffrey Reynolds, who's averaging 8.7 yards a carry. I can guarantee you he's not averaging that here tonight. Haven't really gone to him a whole lot, only 5 yards a carry for the CFL's leading rushers so far here tonight. Well, the sack tally feature brought to you by Purolator, where business is going. 2 sacks tonight for the Calgary Stampeders.
2 sacks for Calgary, and right now we haven't heard a lot of Tim Cheapwood in this game, the Tiger Cat sack expert, but the game is not over yet. It's a great promotion by Purolator. And I'm not sure if the quarterbacks are crazy about it because they're the ones getting hit, but no, they all love it.
We haven't talked about the Montford factor. Joe Montford still looking for a job. There was a lot of talk that he might find himself back in Hamilton again. You know that there's some team out there could use a Joe Montford at some point.
Ticats were interested.
Reynolds.
Or are the Ticats interested? I know that was one team that Joe had talked about, would love to finish his career. You know, Joe Montford, it's not just what he brings to the table, and I still think he has football in him, but it's also how he can elevate the game of other players. We just talked about Tim Cheatwood. You know, when Tim Cheatwood was with Joe Montford in 03 and 04, he had 24 sacks. Without Joe Montford in 02 and 05, that dropped to 11. So, you know, clearly when a guy like Joe Montford is around, offenses have to pay so much attention to him that it opens up one-on-ones for other players. And Cheat would love having Mumford. I'm still a little surprised that Mumford hasn't showed up somewhere.
Said he's going to take a pay cut. Somebody is willing to sign him. Pick him up. Burris fires. Marcus Howell can't make the catch.
Now, that's a good throw by Henry Burris. And in a game this tight, and as it ticks down, I know that a lot of the fans and certainly the media have been on Henry Burris for his performance, but you can't put that one on Burris' shoulders. That's a ball that Howell has to catch.
Adriano Belli knocked him on his can. So now Hamilton will get the football back again. Burke Dales from his 35 with a pretty good wind blowing. It's calmed down a bit since the opening kickoff. The Stampeders with the breeze. Whoa, what a kick here. Back to the 5. Yeast. Rob Hitchcock trying to help him out. Ticats will scrimmage at the 20 after a 15-yard return. Jason Moss back to work in a moment.
56 yards for Burkdale.
Block. Hamilton, number 18. 10-yard penalty in the run back. First down.
So a 10-yard penalty on the return. Mike Moriali, George White, 6 tackles tonight. First game back with the Stampeders after the Achilles problem. So a long way to go here for the Ticats. And they're going to need, the Stampeders, more of George White. Big defensive stop here.
Yeah, and George White's been quiet. You know, he has 6 tackles, which is a big game for a linebacker, but he's been quiet when you think about George White in his past, and that's totally justifiable. Coming off Achilles tendon injury, coming off early, I mean, just trusting whether or not he can make the same cuts that he used to make has got to be weighing on his mind, not to mention he's got to be breathing hard.
So a big play here, 2nd and 7 with 4 minutes to go in the 4th quarter. Moss with the little time, open, and the catch made. First catch in the Canadian Football League by Willie Quinney.
Well, and that ball was thrown way out in front of him. He was at about the 10-yard mark in his route. Jason Moss threw it 35 yards, and he made up the next 20 yards in a heartbeat. And that shows the great speed by Willie Quinney down the sideline. Little out and up move on Cedric Williams.
They needed to go vertical at some point. Perfect time.
That's the 3rd attempt vertical. First completion.
35-yard pickup. First catch by Quinney. Moss. William Radlin head down, bulldozing. About 8 yards.
Well, I'll tell you what it does too. Now whenever Willie Quinney goes out there, Cedric Williams now is thinking of that double cut that he just gave up, big yardage, a 35-yarder. So Williams now in the back of his mind has to give any receiver from the Ticats out of that outside, he's got to give him maybe another step. He's going to step back a little bit more thinking of that double move. Does that mean that Jason Moss gets an open receiver at about 10 or 15?
2nd and 3. There goes Terry Vaughn. Another big gainer here. The Ticats picking it up at a very opportune time. Trying to eat a little clock as well with a 1-point lead and the 3-minute warning on the field.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's lucky 50-50 winning ticket number has been claimed by Ron. Here to present Ron with his cash prize of $12,839.50. Representing the Calgary Colts in Bantam football, it's Leanne Henderson and Gordon, the golden receiver. Congratulations, Ron. At this time, on behalf of the Calgary Stampeder Football Club, Stan Schwartz would like to present the Calgary Colts and the Calgary Bantam football with a check for $12,839.50. Calgary Colts and Calgary Bantam Football Association, thank you for your support of minor football in Calgary.
The Stampeder Football Club would like to extend a warm welcome to the kids who are here courtesy of the Top Court Group. The Top Court Group donates 450 tickets to Calgary Children's Groups for every Stampeder home game.
Calgary Colts and the Calgary Bantam Football Association, thank you. And now the go for the Top Chateau World Grand Prize winner of 2006 Grey Cup Aircraft and 200 combination. Tonight's winner is Cal. Presenting him with these prizes for Chateau World. Congratulations, Cal. Still in your chest going to the next game. So deposit the wallet to the next one because we have a winner every game.
Welcome back to McMahon Stadium. 2:55 to go. Road teams are 1-7 this season, but the Ticats lead by 1. They have not won on the road since October 2004, spanning 10 regular season games. John Ronick loses a couple of yards here.
J.R. Ruffin read that play perfectly, has seen it a few times here tonight, and this time he just beats any possible block. And Josh Ronick really had no chance at it, and that'll put Jason Moss in a 2nd and long. Terry Vaughn got a little block down in the corner, but one block that was needed, Josh Ronick did not get. Pretty good play by Ruffin.
Well, again, 2nd and 14. Moss has to get it a little further. It's against the wind again if they intend to kick a field goal too.
Yeah, and that big tackle by Ruffin really may have pushed, you see what Greg Marshall does, but it may have pushed Hamilton out of field goal range. I think they're going to punt the football because they lost 4 yards. I mean, positive yardage in that series means they're kicking a field goal, and what would be, if you make it, a 4-point lead. Now they have to punt the football with just a 1-point lead.
J.R. Ruffin doesn't know how good of a tackle he made on that play. Could be a huge one in the final outcome here. Pat Fleming, who will celebrate his 28th birthday tomorrow. Kenyon Rambo is back at his 10. Once again, the Ticats want to pin the Stampeders in the final 2 minutes. Wobbler end over end. Rambo spinning outside, and he loses a yard from where he first began. Stampeders have a long way to go. They trailed by 1 in this 3rd game of the season.
The CFL on TSN is brought to you by Coors Light, the Silver Bullet, and by General Motors of Canada and all its divisions.
28,000 plus here in Calgary tonight. Kind of a frustrating start for the fans of both teams, certainly more so for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, looking to get off the schneid and get a win. Henry Burris, 17 of 28 for 348 yards. But an interception and a fumble recovery, leading to the 2 major scores for Hamilton. Burris firing. Copeland picks up the first down.
You know, in the first game of the season against the Edmonton Eskimos, the Calgary Stampeders had a very similar game. They were kind of off on offense and kind of hung around. Their defense played pretty well. And then came a moment on 3rd and 10 that Henry Burris made the play of that game to Nick Lewis in the end zone.
Maybe really, one of the plays of the year.
It could be, depending on how they do this year. And this is a drive possibility in that same respect for Henry Burris.
Again, a chance to also kill some of the clock and maybe get a game-winning field goal. But Burris has to prance out of the pocket, looking downfield to the sideline. Knocked out of bounds. Tad Cornegay there.
I have a feeling that Tad Cornegay may have just won that spot in this game, out on that left corner, and he's been there since early on. Arab and Justin may be hurt. However, Justin started the game. Tad Cornegay is finishing it, and he's in perfect position here, and he has been for most of the night.
Very interesting, when Henry Burris rolls to his right, his passes have not been the most accurate. That time into tight coverage. 92 seconds to go here in the 4th. Here comes the rush, avoids it. And once again, Jason Goss knocks it away from Jermaine Copeland, and maybe should have had that.
Yeah, and Copeland will tell you he should have had it, because Rob Hitchcock was playing linebacker and he was in the middle and got kind of crossed up. Copeland is right here. He's going to work his way into the middle of the field. When he does, the linebacker 42, who's Rob Hitchcock, is supposed to help out Jason Goss in the middle. He got crossed up and too far outside, and it bounces off the thighs of Copeland, who really should have caught that one.
Goss was close, but not that close, and it was Copeland dropping the football. Burke Dales needs a boomer again. Yeast, no yards call right there, so Hamilton will have pretty good possession with 1:19 to go.
That's a 15-yarder, because Craig Yeast did a nice job of catching that ball in the air, and when he did, he drew the flag. That's a 15-yard penalty. That's huge yardage at this point in the game.
take them close to midfield.
No yards. Calgary number 3. It's a 15-yard penalty. First down.
You know, early in the season, a lot of things aren't worked to perfection. You don't see polished football sometimes. It's been a lot of sloppy football here.
You know, you've heard it many, many times from coaches, and I'm not suggesting that Calgary has lost this game yet. But whichever team loses, you'll hear the coach say, you know, we had our opportunities, and a few mistakes and fumbles and interceptions and turnovers cost us the game. And see which one can survive the turnovers.
You know, it's reality. The game probably should end in a tie. Both teams have been almost equal in their inability to protect the football here. Jason Moss, though, operating on a pretty good percentage here tonight. 24 of 30, with yardage nowhere near Henry Burris, and the 2 picks. That's now 6 interceptions for Moss this year to go with only 1 touchdown pass.
Right, and the only thing he's thinking about now, though, Rod, is a W. And that's what the Hamilton Tiger Cats need more than anything. They do not want to go 0-3. We talked about it early on, what happens over the last couple of years when they have started 0-3. We went to 0-12 and 0-8.
Yeah, the snowball keeps rolling. Ticats trying to keep rolling here. 1:16 to go. Well, speaking of W's, the Blue Jays got another one tonight. Sweep of the Washington Nationals. Roy Halladay picked up the win. Highlights coming up on Sports Center with Dutchie and the Hedge, Darren Detition and Jennifer Hedger. Coming up after the ball game.
This is key in this football game. I mean, you're looking at second and medium for Jason Moss.
Procedure. Hamilton, number 65. 5-yard penalty. Repeats second down.
Well, I'm going to correct myself and make it second and long for Jason Moss. Huge down, though. This is right around the time when Brian Clark for the Calgary Stampeders steps up and makes a play on defense. Jason Moss really just 2 first downs away from winning this football game by a point. It's all on the line right now.
They have not been able to convert many second and long situations. Moss with a little communication breakdown here, and looks like they're going to send the Ticats back here to huddle.
It really is amazing how many football games come down to a couple of plays. This is one of them for both teams.
Using up the clock. Open is Yeast.
Well, that's big.
What a play.
And what a throw from Jason Moss, who took a hit. He had the rush right in front of him. Really no throwing lane, and he guns it down the sideline to Craig Yeast. A serious throw from Jason Moss because he really didn't have a lot to look at. That pressure was bearing down on him. Here it comes. He knows he's going to get hit from Sheldon Napustek, and he gets that out to the sideline. A huge throw and completion for the Ticats looking for their first win of the season. Looked like he had a little bit of a bleeding nose, but isn't that Jason Moss?
That is Jason Moss to a T. And remember, it was Jason Moss off the bench against Calgary in the playoffs for Edmonton. And he ruined the party for Stampeder fans. Might do the same here tonight. Rolling left, sliding, and that looked like a bit of a late hit on Jason Moss. He wants a penalty call, and he's not getting it.
Well, he should, because you look back, if you think back to early on in the game when Scott Gordon got a penalty call, when he came down, the timing was almost right there. I mean, Scott Gordon dove, and that's what Greg Marshall is so upset with. Scott Gordon got called on a similar play where the timing is so close, and clearly Jason Moss is sliding feet first, and he is not allowed to get hit. White comes in and hits him, as does Raheem Abdullah. That should have been a penalty if you're calling Scott Gordon.
Marshall lathered up. 2nd and 7. The shovel out to Radlin. And Jason Moss and the Ticats make something out of nothing. That could have been a huge loss because it would have taken them out of field goal position. And now it will be 3rd down. And still within Jamie Borum's range, you would think. It's going to be about a 40, 42-yarder.
Well, yeah, well within his range and a huge field goal. I mentioned that Jamie Borum has bounced back, but they're going to have to lean on him once more because this 3 points, the difference between a 1-point lead and a 4-point lead.
Again, back in 2004, his first start in McMahon, got the game winner, 4 for 4. He's been 2 for 2 here tonight. 42-yarder for Borum. 27 seconds to go, clock still ticking. Take it down to the 20-second mark. Huge kick here. And it is wide. And taking the single will be Ruffin.
That's a good job, and that's a good decision because 1 point doesn't make a difference. Henry Burrs needs to drive at the length of the field. A field goal still wins it for the Calgary Stampeders when Borum misses wide right.
They will get it at the 35-yard line, but here's the story. 13 seconds only. You're going to have a couple of quick hitters here, one long gainer. Figure about 7 seconds, 8 seconds of play. Can they get into field goal range?
That depends on how the Hamilton Tiger Cats play defensively as well. If they get too far back, 2 quick throws in that intermediate zone. Remember, they've got guys like Nick Lewis who can do something with the football after the catch. There's lots of time here.
Now the Stampeders are going to have to watch the clock when they make the catch. Out of bounds is Marcus Howell. That took 5 seconds. So you need another one of these to get it to 3 or so. Want to get it to at least probably the 40-yard line, maybe even the 45.
Right now the Ticats have 4 defenders deep. And when I say deep, they're 30 to 40 yards deep.
8 seconds to go. Over the middle to the 40 to the 38-yard lines with 2 seconds left.
That's field goal range for Sandro DeAngelis.
Kenyon Rambo with a huge catch. And now Sandro DeAngelis, who has been 9 of 10 this season, his longest from 43 yards. And now for the win. And this from the 45-yard line. A game full of turnovers. Comes down to 1 kick. It's up. It's good. And the Stampeders have won it. And look at DeAngelis.
He's taking us to the room.
Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. We're going home.
Let's take him to the room.
Oh, man.
Take him to the showers, boys. Game's over. Heartbreaker for Greg Marshall, whose defense battled back. But the Calgary Stampeders, they hang on and win a game they probably should have when you look at the numbers.
The guys from Steeltown almost stole one.
They did.
Well, you look at that final 13 seconds. The defense couldn't hold the Stampeders, too. All of the things that should have happened tonight didn't happen. And the one thing that went right in the end was right here. Sandro DeAngelis, the CFL's best kicker right now, wins it.